Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. The bat signal went up. The boys are here. We're going to talk a little bit of transfer portal. It has been wild. It's been chaotic. Foul, we were talking in the back room. You can't even keep up with it. It's happening so fast. It is the wild, wild west. Did you expect it to be this chaotic when we knew it was going to be one window?
Not at all, man. I kind of expected something like last year. We get a couple names, we get a list, we get some ideas of what's going on. This has just been crazy, man. From the time we started, the list slowly sped up. Now we're a weekend. I don't know where to look, where to keep up. I'm on Twitter. I'm on VolQuest. I'm all over Google, just trying to keep track. Man, I don't know how you've done it. Hats off to you to keep up with this long list. Everybody ought to appreciate Bug on this one. I know he's putting in a lot of hours. Just to keep a short list. I mean, you put a couple of stats by name, you get a good list going, you're feeling confident. Next thing you know, the whole list is upside down. This kid's somewhere across the country, somebody new's coming in that I've never heard of. Got to get back to the computer, start all over. It's been nuts, man. But, I mean, it's fun. You got to say that.
It's been wild. I think last week, me, Boogie, and Coach, me and Boogie getting a little anxious. Coach being the realist, telling us, calm down. Let's let this thing, roll out a little bit. And how different it's been since last week when we did that show together, man. It's absolutely crazy. The portal gives, the portal takes, but really happy where Tennessee is now. Excited to break it all down, man. It's absolute madness, but do a lot more aggressive approach, doing things the right way, and we're having some success.
Coach, you need to take a victory lap. You need to take a victory lap real quick.
I mean, I'm smiling because I'm getting defensive toys to play with in the film room and watch on the football field. But in all truth, like I meant a comment I said on Twitter just I think yesterday. I quoted you, Boogie. I want more steam, man. I want more steam. Like I don't need 25 more offensive linemen and 30 new five-star quarterbacks like what some people want, but still more steam, right? Let's still keep pressing, and that goes even beyond that quarterback position that I know everyone's still anxious for. And like I said in the beginning, for me, it was just like, let them work. We got a new defensive coach in. As I mentioned, what was it, 3 or 4 weeks ago, Bug, when you asked me about the coaches? I said he's going to interview them all. He's going to not only interview all his coaches, he's going to interview all his players, and he's going to review all their film, and that goes for the coaches and players, and make some decisions. We might not like all of them, and I didn't think we did at first, but let's breathe. Let's let them work, and when it's all settled, I'll make a decision on how I feel about the transfer portal, but it's certainly starting to crack a smile to an old ball coach's face here.
Yeah, I mean, look, the reality is all those guys that got, I don't want to say processed out, because I don't think they all were processed out. I think some were. I think some saw the writing on the wall. I think some were involved in those meetings that you're talking about. And I don't want to put on weight. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. I don't want to adapt, whatever the case may be, whether it was one-sided, whether it was mutual. The bottom line is most of those guys are going to bounce, and they're going to bounce early, right? So if you're on the outside looking in, it's going, all right, this guy's leaving, that guy's leaving. We're seeing Caleb Herring leave. We see Jordan Ross leave. You're seeing the guys that you're familiar with leave. And then, like Fowl said, you're seeing all these new names pop up, and it's guys that you don't know. It's guys that you're not familiar with. I'm comfortable with Jordan Ross. I know who he is. I know what his ceiling is. So when I see him leave, man, I'm in panic mode. I may not be familiar with Chaz Coleman, right? I may not know that he was the number 1 ranked edge rusher in the portal, but the more you follow it, the more you see it, the more you start to trust Josh Heupel, the more you start to trust Jim Knowles and what they're trying to build. And even on top of that, going back to what Fowl said, it's a new name in the portal every day. Right. It's like, yes, Tennessee didn't get all the shiny new toys in the first couple of days, but man, you're still seeing scoops day in and day out. There's still elite talent that will go in the portal that we've not seen enter yet. It's coming. It's coming.
Oh yeah. And I mean, like, we talked about it, last week, like the amount of names that are coming out, you had some swings and misses on the guys that, both Adam Trick that went to Texas Tech and Mateen, who also followed him. And, we were having some question marks about what we're going to do defensively, especially up front of the defensive line. And you saw them actually immediately go, and you saw more new names come out. I think like 5 of the 6 visitors today, defensive line. So they're checking they're making their list, checking it twice, doing all the right things. And they're next man up mentality, no matter what position on the field it is, they're going to get what they need. They have that hot board in front of them. So seeing this aggressive approach and really strategic when it's all coming together right now, it's actually been phenomenal to see, man. They actually have a plan and they're executing.
Let me hit you guys in the chat real quick. We got about 500 people watching live right now. Don't let up. Put on more steam. I don't know if Coach knows this. I should probably tell him that. I mean, that came from the general. I didn't make that up. Boogie didn't create that. I mean, that came from the. We can give credit where credit's due. Is that okay?
You just say it all the time. I know it's a maximum, all that kind of stuff. I'm aware, guys.
I mean, I'll take credit for it.
Me yet. Yeah,
I'll take credit for it. But I mean, let's put on more steam. We got 500 people watching. I told Mrs. Boogie, she's like, I don't know who you are. I don't see you. I've not seen your face in freaking 3 weeks. But I said, I think we're going to hit 1,000 tonight. I think I'm going to have to give away some free merch tonight. And she said, nah. They're not going to do it. They never do it. They won't show up for you. They won't show out, show love for you. She refuses to believe in you guys. So I need you to do me a favor and prove her wrong. Smash the thumbs up and hit share. 500 watching. We get to 1,000. I'll give away 2 shirts. And by the way, we got a couple of new ones that we'll show to you guys in just a little bit. But smash the thumbs up, share out the link. Same deal as always on these Portal live streams. Coach Jay has been in the film room. You want to see the film breakdowns? You want to see the work that he's put in? It's 5 Orange Boys. We get 5 Orange Boys. That's a super chat of $19.99 or more. We're going to do a little film breakdown on Lane. You guys get that? You got to make it 10, and we're going to do a little film breakdown on Chaz Coleman as well. So put on more steam, drop those Orange Boys, and we've already got a couple of them. Todd dropped the 20 spot. Todd said, I'll take one of the 10 boys. We'll play the clip.
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
He says, here's one of them Orange Boys boogie. Things are looking up in Limestone and in Knoxville. Go Big Orange. Shout out, Ty. We need 9 more. 4 more if you want Lane. 9 more if you want Chaz Coleman. Randy Wilson is here, drops a 10 spot, says Dorfy. Sounds like Coach Knowles is putting together a hybrid SEC Big 10 defense with a splash of Big 12. Can't wait to see this defense next season. Shout out Randy. He also gifted a Talkin VAWLS membership. Same deal as always. Y'all get 35 of them. Either join the channel or gift them. We'll give away a free shirt for there too. Why not? Let's give away 3 of these brand new shirts we got cooked up. But shout out Randy. We appreciate you. Brian Turner for 5 says Dorfy. So glad all the defensive recruits lately, especially all the former Penn State players, GBO. Todd for another 10 says, let's get this portal party started. Fill the boat, play for championship. Don't know what will happen with QB1, but I believe Coach Heupel has a plan. Go Big Orange. Wayne says, I'll take 1 for the team.
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
Wayne with an orange boy and nothing to say, just a tip in the tip jar. That's 2 out of 5 or 2 out of 10, however you want to look at it. Little spooky for 2. We upgraded at kick returner. Got a guy with heart. We're going to talk about him in just a little bit. East Tennessee, Justin became a member of the channel. Shout out, Justin. 33 more. Put on more steam. Cody Taggart for 2 said, appreciate you guys. GBO, we appreciate you, Cody. Timothy McGee for 10 says, heard that GMAC may leave if they bring in another quarterback in the portal. If he does, I don't blame him. Why should I sit on the bench and the coach won't give me a chance? Where did you hear that? I wonder if you heard this, Timothy, from the same guy that said we were broke. And then we went and dropped a bag on Chaz Coleman. Don't always believe everything you hear on the internet, boys. Let's talk about this class. Coach Jay, no, I'm not starting with you. I can't start with you. You never were in panic mode. You never freaked out. Foul wasn't here. Foul, how did you feel? We look at the portal rankings right now. Tennessee currently sitting at 15th. You can see the number of players that transferred out. You can see where they ranked. We got 10 guys that have transferred in. That averages out at 78.8. 21 guys have transferred out. They all average out at 71.7. I think if you look at the numbers, it looks like we're trimming some fat and adding some talent. Where were you a week ago, Foul, when you looked at the portal before this wave of momentum compared to where you're at now? And then me and Scoops, maybe we can celebrate and stop panicking a little bit.
A week ago, I still felt good. We were just getting started. I actually got roasted on here for saying we're just getting fired up, waiting to see what happens by the end of the week. Got absolutely roasted, but that's okay. That's part of it. I said I would come on here and be just as upset as everybody else if it didn't work out, but it's starting to trend up. Are we seeing Tennessee adapt in real time? Because it's almost like, yeah, we lost, or we kind of missed out on some early, took some shots there, but it's almost like Tennessee's ramped up. They started to realize just how fast all this is taking place. I think it's caught us all by surprise. I mean, I'm obviously excited about what we've just got over the weekend. We're going to get into that. But just watching the progression has been interesting to me. It's across the country. It's not just Tennessee, but a handful of players that were on a lot of people's boards just went quick right out the gate. You're like, we're putting guys on our list. They're coming for visits. We're starting to get information on them. Don't even get here for the visit, right? So you can see where Tennessee's like, I got to start getting on the ball here, and if I want a guy, I got to lock him down. So last week I felt okay. A couple days into it, you start seeing some names pop off the board. I came on here in the chat the other night and was talking about it with some of the guys. I was starting to sweat. I wasn't panicking, but I was starting to sweat because you're seeing names that's on not just on the top of the boards, but on the top of Tennessee's boards. Guys that Heupel wants, or guys that Knowles wants. So that's when I start to sweat if they're a take, right? Not just a visit. But now Tennessee's putting their money where their mouth is. We've closed on what a lot of our top targets were. So obviously I'm starting to feel pretty good about this. But we can't let up. I think there's a couple more on the board. There's a couple more spaces. We got to put on more steam, as Boogie likes to reference. So I'm excited. I'm happy, but I'm not satisfied just yet.
I think adapting in time is a perfect thing to say, just because if you talk to some of the scouting assistants or guys in the building over there that have been working behind the scenes, I mean, they kind of felt embarrassed how the first few days went, and you definitely saw them, put on more steam, go to an aggressive approach. Where I think since the last show that we did, I mean, it was 8 commitments if you count the long snapper. So those guys went over there, got really serious and weren't letting these guys really leave campus. So you've been seeing a lot more different approach of energy coming out of the visits compared to just letting them go on to another visit. And it's definitely been refreshing, man. You lose some pieces, some that you did not want to lose, but a lot of it has been bad on the steak, and now you're adding in depth pieces. I know a lot of it are Penn State players. Everyone's saying, oh, we're just taking Penn State's defense. That's the number 1 edge rusher in the portal. That's the number 4 linebacker in the portal. That's a top 30 safety in the portal that you got from Penn State. That's a top number 4 defensive lineman that you got from Penn State. So you're not only just getting those guys that know the system, but you're getting top available players in the portal as well. And just overall, the average, I think right now, Tennessee, if you take the average alone of the players we brought in, you're sitting top 5 there in the country, and you were late to the party. So definitely a more aggressive approach. Boogie, I'm not sweating as much. Jim Knowles and Josh Heupel doing their thing. And like we said, they're not done yet. There's some more things to put in play.
I think you brought up a good point, because something that irks me, man. It irks me when I see the low-hanging fruit comment of, oh, we're just going to get Penn State's entire team, and how good was that defense, and let's talk about their record. We're not just getting dudes from Penn State. We're not just getting some player from Penn State. Coach, we're not replacing our defense with the Penn State defense. But if you were going to talk about Dejuan Lane, you're going to talk about Chaz Coleman, you're going to talk about Amari Campbell and Xavier Gilliam, what type of dudes would you say we're getting from Penn State that, and go back to Fowl brought this up so early when Jim Knowles was hired. Take advantage of the portal, get a guy at each layer, and we got a defensive tackle, an edge rusher, a linebacker, and somebody in the secondary. But they're not just Joe Blow from Penn State. They're dudes.
The first thing I would say that you're going to get are kids that were taught how to play their position correctly, fundamentally sound, and understand their role in this Jim Knowles defense, and have taken to that coaching quickly and well under him. And you really can't put enough stock into that. Jim Knowles was there for a year. He knows the kids that were taking to that coaching. He knows the kids that understand what he wanted, and those are the kids he targeted. And when you get kind of jumping in on this film, you see that. The second thing you see is just speed. And when I mean speed, I don't always just mean flatline speed, right? I always say on this channel, there's 2 kinds of speed, right? There's fast, and then there's quick. But just game speed in general. These guys have really, really good game speed and are really, really headsy players. I couldn't be more excited like this. So, yeah, I kind of cringe a little. Like, I think I heard someone say the other day, well, Chaz Coleman, got worked over by Nico. Chaz Coleman had 101-degree temperature the day they played UCLA. Played like 2 plays, threw up on the sideline, and left the game. So sometimes check the facts; they do tend to matter. But really, really excited about how we're sprinkling them, and I started to feel really good when we got that long snapper, because if you're dialed in on your tough guys only, your special teams guys, you know something good's coming, in my opinion.
I gotta say, when the long snapper jumped in the boat, I went into a panic. I go, who is this guy? I was like, is this a high school kid? Is this a what the heck is going on? I've never heard this name before. And then I read long snapper and I said, oh, maybe we could get him on the channel and talk to him. That's what we got to do. We got to get that long snapper on here, man. I think that would be fun, and we'll see what happens there. We'll see what happens. Let me catch back up with you guys. Timothy for 2 says it was Tony Basilio. I won't comment on Tony Basilio because I really have never watched him. But man, oh man, you talk about a polarizing figure.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you say something bad about Tony Basilio, either everybody's going to agree and pile on, or you're going to get roasted by somebody, because it's either love or hate. There is no in between. Timothy for another 10 says it was Tony Basilio. You know, he has sources that he never shares their name, only say they work at Tennessee. I was sharing some BS about Tony Basilio. Hey, if you guys want film, we got to put on more steam. 621 people watching live. If you haven't hit the thumbs up, hit the thumbs up. We need 3 more Orange Boys, at least 3 more Orange Boys, so we can get to Dejuan Lane's film. We need 8 more to get to Chaz Coleman. So put on more steam. If you've enjoyed, let me just say this. If you've enjoyed the content, I have lived in this office for 12 to 14 hour days ever since the portal opened. If you have enjoyed that, throw a super chat. We would appreciate it. Peyton Bowles says, I'll take one of them. Boogie.
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
Peyton says, let's go get a veteran quarterback and let's go make a playoff run. This might just be the year where the offense and defense is good together. GBO. Shout out, Peyton. 2 more for Lane's film, 7 more for Chaz Coleman's film. I can't speak. Donovan drops a $5 super chat, says, I want Leavitt, but Pribula is a real option, so people that don't like him better realize he could end up here. With Coach Heupel, Pribula could do good. Well, what's Donovan talking about? Let's jump into the quarterback conversation. Let's jump into what dropped today, man. And I saw this, if I can find it, if you guys could see how many screens I've got on my screen right now, how many tabs I've got open. But Matt Zenitz over at CBS Sports put this out. He says, while the waiver is still being pursued and there's nothing final yet, it's currently viewed as unlikely that Tennessee quarterback Joey Aguilar will be granted an additional year of eligibility, sources tell CBS Sports. Now, I see a lot of people, and you probably comment, say, tweet the same things that I'm thinking. I go, all right, how do you know? Where does Matt Zenitz? Who are your sources? That's the one thing I would like to know. Who are Matt Zenitz? Who are his sources? On the flip side of that, Fowl, I can sell this because Matt Zenitz works at CBS. He covers the NFL. He covers college football. He's a big-time name. I don't think he's a guy that's just going to put out nonsense for the sake of putting out nonsense. I don't think he's going to put something out for the sake of getting clicks. Maybe he is. Maybe I'm wrong. There's no article to go to here. There's no money to be made here. He's putting out what he's heard, and that's that it's unlikely that Joey Aguilar comes back. The court is supposed to make a ruling tomorrow. How much stock do you put into this? Do you believe that he's accurate?
I mean, I feel like we've all kind of felt that way the whole time, right? That's just kind of been the narrative. You see this Trinidad thing play out, and where he didn't get his extra year. So it seems like the NCAA is trying to maybe put a little bit of a lid on this, but until you see something from the courts, I mean, we don't really have anything to go on. But I kind of feel like this is just kind of the move. This is kind of the trend. They're trying to put some kind of a cap on this, but this is going to come down to the courts. So how much does the NCAA have to say about it? Really nothing. They don't have any power in this situation. But are we really going to have a court by court room situation here where each individual player gets a different ruling? I mean, then if one player gets it, then somebody else is going to sue and say they didn't get it, or take it back to court again and go through the whole motion again. I just think as long as it's played out, as long as it's strung out, you see this kind of narrative come out there, even though it's sourceless, like you said. I'm kind of trending that way. I feel like this has become even more of a long shot than maybe before.
Yeah, I mean, Matt's been one of the up and comers like in the industry, man. He's been killing it with recruiting with the transfer portal, but you know, it's kind of different when you're relying on what you think a judge is going to do or what the courts are going to do. I'm not sure if maybe he's, heard from somebody that's, maybe close to the council or on Tennessee's side where they think that things aren't going too well. Obviously, he's heard something to go out here and maybe even if it is a rumor to put the tweet out, but Tennessee obviously waiting. The Monday meeting tomorrow is supposed to be happening with Joey, his lawyers, and lawyers that represent all the other athletes that are looking for an injunction in the case. But I'm not sure that even if tomorrow that we get a decision, man. And I think even if you don't get a decision, I think that ramps up Tennessee approach from trying to make a move and do the right thing, like having to go find a quarterback that can play and just bank on somebody, not waiting on the system, but overall, man, I mean, he had to have a reason to go out there and put this tweet out. He had to have heard something. So it just depends, man. I think when Pavia did it, he got the injunction in the case. Now it's kind of coming to an end in the case. So hopefully that, we do get an extra year. I think it's the best case scenario still, in my opinion, but not looking promising for Joey. And it's not just Joey, man. It's tons of JUCO athletes all around the country as well that are, banking on this decision. So
it's just, to me, it's impossible to know what any judge is going to do, right? The courts in this country have always been hard to pinpoint on much of anything, right? So I will say this: if you're talking to the lawyers, in my experience, anyways, tend to try to downplay things and kind of plan for the worst, hope for the best type approach. So wouldn't be surprised if that's how it came across. So everyone will just have to cross their fingers and hope for the best and see what happens.
I don't think this is happening. I think it's over. And I see so many people doing math and adding up how many years Diego Pavia played and how many years that Joey Aguilar played. I don't think that has anything to do with it. I think last year it was almost like we don't have an answer for this. We don't know what to do. So we're going to give just a blanket one-time waiver for 1 year. And that's why they said 1 calendar year. And that applied to Pavia. It applied to Joey Aguilar. It applied to Miles Kitselman. And so many people want to do math and talk about foul. They want to say, well, Diego Pavia got to play this many years, so Joey should get that. Nobody cares. They don't care. I think it's going to be clear cut. It's either going to be, all right, we're waiving JUCO years or we're not, and that's it. It's over. There's not going to be any math added to this thing.
If there's one thing I'd probably have to disagree with you on, I don't think anything's ever going to be clear cut in any of this stuff. It just, I wish it was. I think it'd be simpler if it was. I just don't see it happening because it's the same as with the NIL deal initially. Once you kind of open that can of worms, how do you put it back in the box? Because if like you just said, if you give one player so many years, the other player is going to turn around and sue or say they weren't allowed the same amount of time. Now, is that fair? Does that make sense across the board? No, it doesn't. But I don't know how you're going to argue against it. I don't know how you can say, well, it was just 1 year. Well, now it's happened. And now that it's happened, everybody else is going to want it. And how do you turn around and come up with the verbiage to say, well, that was okay. That was a one-time deal. We're never doing it again. They're going to just keep arguing it, keep pushing it, keep running it through more and more courts. I don't see a clear-cut end to any of this, but we need something. We got to come up with a rule at some point.
That's what I think you have to make a decision. Do JUCO years count or do they don't? And when I talk about clear cut, I don't care if you played 14 years of JUCO ball or 6 months of JUCO ball. We got a guy we're going to talk about at the end of the show, and I'll go ahead and bury the lead here. Jacoby Jackson at Florida. That kid just got approved for a 7th year of college football. So kind of just to go with what you're saying there, Fal, if that's the case, and Joey Aguilar should be cleared to go. Like, this kid played 3 years of JUCO ball. He redshirted a year. He got the extra COVID year. He just got approved for a waiver. 7 years. He's got 7 years of college football. So if we're playing that game, Scoops, then why wouldn't Joey Aguilar be approved?
It's hard. No, yeah, man. I mean, he definitely has a case, man, and we've questioned, even if he got the extra year, would he be committed to coming back and playing that extra year? And I mean, I think Joey has realized that overall, like in the beginning, it wasn't realistic, but I've heard that he's been thinking about it as this thing, goes on. And, is it a realistic opportunity? Is there going to be a realistic chance that I do get approved and can come back and play? Because he knows what it would mean for Tennessee and what he did in year 1 and how he could make that jump in year 2. And, going to the NFL is just not likely. I mean, he would be making more to be able to come back and make more 1 year at Tennessee than going right now. So, I mean, I think that you have to have that in the back of your mind as an opportunity or a chance to happen. But as Tennessee also, they can't sit there and wait at the same time, even with all the other quarterbacks. Even if you miss on a guy like Sam Leavitt, or if you bring in a guy like Pabula, man, you're seeing them cover their tracks and do everything the right way just in case, because you can't bank on this decision to go in your favor.
Let me hit some super chats real quick. Bronson Hickman for 2 says, who we getting for strength coach? Scott Cochran? Somebody else got to answer that. I have not even looked at it. I've not even batted an eye at it. I have been locked in on the portal. Has any Scoops, you have any idea?
I've heard that the Indiana strength and conditioning coach that's currently up there, he has a relationship or a former tie with Heupel. And I mean, if that one's a no-go, if he's, using it as a pay raise and, to stay there with Cignetti and what they're building up there, I think that Corey Miller that came from UCLA, I think he moved back south recently. I saw AP say that. So I think that's a realistic option. Probably just those two right now. I think your number one is probably going and trying to pluck the guy on at IU right now, but we'll see what happens. I think that should be wrapped up in the next week or so.
This is how much my head's spinning from doing like Foul Ming talks about with so many names and rattling them off and all these notes. I answered that question. I think Nelson texted me and asked me, and I think I answered that straight question. And now it all came back to me when Scoops gave that answer. Cordell Luttrell's been a member for 6 months. Shout out, Cordell. We appreciate you. For 5, he says, hey, guys, kind of going through a tough time. Could use some prayers. Thank y'all for being here. Go Vols. Done and done, Cordell. We'll throw some prayers up for you, man. Hopefully we can provide a distraction for you on here tonight. So whatever you're dealing with, man, kick back, relax, and listen to a little Talkin VAWLS, and hopefully things get turned around for you. But we'll definitely send some prayers up to the big man. Dell drops a 20 spot. We'll play the clip.
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
Shout out, Dell says, let's just let it play out tomorrow. GBO, nobody knows nothing unless the judge made a ruling, and he ain't working on Sunday. The Waniac drops another Orange Boy. We'll play the clip.
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
Shout out, Wayne. Shout out, Dell. We need one more $20 super chat, and we will watch some film on Dejuan Lane. 6 more, and we'll include Chaz Coleman in that. Well, we'll move on from Joey Aguilar. We'll see if he's played his last snap at Tennessee. If he has, man, that's a dude. Actually, before we move on, man, if it is over for Joey Aguilar, Coach, how are you going to remember his time at Tennessee? I think he is the definition of a VFL.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about the other day I know we all talked about it like when NIL first started, but I was like, man, what does everyone call a VFL, right? Like, but Joey certainly, right? Came in, learned the system on a whim, right? Extremely quickly. From the moment he came in, he was the consummate teammate, always there for his brothers, always there picking them up early, always kept fighting. Just the kind of kid that's infectious to a program and to an offense, and I think you could see that throughout the offense. Just really proud of all the work he did. Hats off to Heupel, Halsey, Danny Hernandez, and everyone else along the line from El Diablo College and everyone that touched his career, man. Like, you did a heck of a job. He's a heck of a young man, and no matter what happens with the case, I'm damn proud that he put it all out there for the power team. That's for sure. I know for some of y'all, it wasn't good enough at times, but when someone fights like heck like that for my team, it's always good enough for me, at least.
I mean, yeah, Evolve for life in my book, especially after hearing everything that he was battling in the last half of the season, just over with the tumor and everything else. But when Joey Aguilar got here, man, it was, linked to the first unofficial trade in college football. It was, Tennessee getting a body when Nico Iamaleava left after the day before the spring game. And what did Joey do? I mean, obviously he knew that he had to come in and work for it, but he became a team leader. He started taking the offensive line out to dinner. He started doing all the right things, building relationships. He didn't just go out there and expect to come in and be the day one starter because of his experience at App State or UCLA. No, he went out there and did all the right things, man. And, he leading the SEC in passing yards, third all time, I think, over there. It's like, in passing yards at Tennessee, the performance that he did, leaving it all out there on the field, whether he gets an extra year or not, man, that guy put his body on the line, and you never had to question any week if he was out, trying or giving his all for Tennessee. He always gave 100%. So if it was the last of Joey Aguilar, man, he's a VFL in my book, and a guy that was pivotal in a year where we had a lot of things to be cautious about.
I mean, first off, we just have to be thankful, right? Like the way he came in here, the timing he came in here, he didn't have to do that. He didn't have to put himself through all that. So just from a Tennessee fan perspective, we need to be thankful of that. But he's the guy everybody wants on their team, right? He's coachable. He was a great leader. I mean, he's a teammate. He's one of those guys that you want in your locker room. He came out and performed on top of that, gave us multiple chances to win, and even in some of those games that we came up short, the 30 for 30s out there. I'd love to see the SEC football documentary, Any Given Saturday. I'd love to see him behind the scenes, watch that progression, because could you imagine the pace that must have went through, the pace that must have been to get him ready, to get him game ready, to get him introduced to everybody. Put yourself in his shoes for a minute. I mean, you have to learn everybody on your team. You got to learn your whole coaching staff. You're learning a new system. You're on a new campus. I mean, you're uprooted several times in just a few short months. I mean, there's a lot that was on this guy's plate. So I'd love to see him back. Love to see him when he could, not only from a progression standpoint, but just when you can kind of relax for a minute. You've been here for a minute. You're comfortable here. Now how much can you grow? But if that doesn't turn out to be the case, man, I'm just thankful that we had him represented Tennessee as well as anybody could have asked for, and then some, really. So yeah, man, I'm just thankful we had Joey Aguilar this year. Love to see him one more year if we get a chance.
There was people, man, that were speculating that he was living with Josh Heupel when he first moved here, because he was at his house every night watching film, learning this offense. Yeah, I mean, like you said, I think the perfect word is pace. Like the pace that he had to come in here and go to work and do a year's worth of work, man, to try to get ready, and then to still go out there and, like Scoop said, lead the conference in passing yards, come close to breaking Peyton Manning's record, and then still, I don't get it, man. You still have some people in this fan base that just aren't satisfied with that. But I think some people in this fan base aren't satisfied with anything. And that's why if you go to bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS, you can buy this brand new shirt that we just rolled out today. If you're one of those people that aren't satisfied with Joey Aguilar, you're one of those people that aren't satisfied with the transfer portal, you're one of those people that never seem to be happy, stop denying it and just rock it. Roll with it. Wear the shirt. Negavol. Go to bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. You can get a t-shirt, long sleeve t-shirt, a hoodie, whatever you want, and then you can customize the color: black, dark gray, navy, whatever you want. We got it. This one actually looks clean. Like I'm probably more towards the sunshine bumper, but this shirt right here, the 3/4 sleeve, that looks like a Vols Scoop shirt. That looks like something Scoops would wear. I'm telling you, bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. And if you wear your Negavol shirt and people tell you you're an idiot, well, you can grab another shirt. This one, let people know that you're a certified ball-knowing realist. Am I out of line? Foul, am I out of line? Like anytime somebody comes in and they're a jerk in the comment section, I put the link to get the ball knower shirt and tell them they know everything, so they don't need to come back, but at least own the shirt on the way out the door. Is that out of line? I don't think that's out of line.
That's right on par. I mean, some people might not take it as well as we do, but if you're going to be out here, you're going to put your opinion out there, you better be a realist. You better be certified. So go get the shirt.
That's it. That's it. Go grab it. Hopefully we can give away some of this merchandise. We need 1,000 people in here. We got 650 right now. Share the link out. Put on more steam. Speaking of put on more steam, Dell Dowman dropped another 20 spot. He says, I'll take the last one. Look, coach is running because now he's got to do a little work. We're going to break down a little film. We'll play the clip.
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
All right, you guys got it done for Dejuan Lane. We're going to talk about our commitments coming up here in just a little bit. When we do, we'll jump into the film room and we'll talk about Dejuan Lane. But now we need 5 for Chaz Coleman. And Todd says, here's an orange boy. Play the clip again, Boogie.
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
Todd says this is Chaz money. Is anybody else, Scoops? Is it just the pettiness in me, or are you celebrate knowing that we spend a little money on Chaz Coleman? Does that make you feel a little something, a little special, a little tingly, a little hair back on the back of your neck standing up?
I got a little tingly, definitely, man. You had every major news outlet. It's LSU, it's Ohio State, not even a mention of Tennessee, even though we knew that Tennessee was going to go in-house, knowing that we were recruiting his teammates at Penn State. You had Xavier Gilliam in the boat. You had Amari Campbell in the boat. You really didn't think that it was, you thought it was kind of fading away. And then we got that text. I sent you the, screenshot just over to the back channel of things that were going on. We're like, are we really getting some momentum in this thing? And then boom, Tennessee getting the commitment of Chaz Coleman, man. You get him over Ohio State. You get him over LSU, two teams that are spending, willing to spend money. We know those programs are going to, spend money to revamp their roster in the portal era at least. So when you go out there and you beat two national programs like that have money, that have resources, that's an absolute win in my book. But hearing how it went down, how the connections, the comfortability and everything of, Coleman and on his visit here, that it was a home run as well, that fired me up even more, man. Just overall, no one gave us a chance, but I think that kind of woke up the national landscape when they saw that Tennessee landed the #1 edge rusher in the transfer portal.
Yeah, I think we're gonna come back to Chaz Coleman. We'll come back to the guys that are committed. But when you're talking about money and spending money, I think first you can start by looking at the class of 26 and who Tennessee signed. And then when Chaz Coleman's name, when Tennessee was mentioned and linked to him, I said if they go get this, and this is why I was so high on it. I know Coach is going to hopefully talk some film with Chaz Coleman if you guys get 4 more Orange Boys. But I was also in on it from an optics perspective. It looks good for Tennessee to go get the #1 edge rusher. It shows you that they have money. It shows you that they are serious when what they did in the class of 26. Now what they did with Chaz Coleman. Now can they go do it with Sam Leavitt? And that's what we're going to talk about. If Joey Aguilar is done, if the courts rule that he is not getting another year, Tennessee, I think you got to push all your chips in on Sam Leavitt at this point. And we've talked so much about Sam Leavitt. He made it in town, extended that visit from 1 day to 2. Scoops, do you take anything away from that? The fact that he extended that visit, you first got to think positively. All right, that's good. He wants to spend more time with Heupel, more time around this coaching staff. He had dinner with Heupel. He jumped in the film room with Heupel and Halsley. He toured Neyland Stadium. So many things that he did, but extending that visit. But then you see the tinfoil hat conspiracy theories that he did it to give Miami time to get back home after their college football playoff game. He did it so Lane Kiffin could fly into Knoxville and get that last meeting in with him. So many conspiracy theories. Good thing, bad thing that he extended that visit.
I mean, I think it's a good thing. We saw the name mentioned a week or so back before this visit even happened, and then you take the Kentucky visit, you take the LSU visit. We saw what happened with the Demond Williams thing from Washington, and while he was on his visit down there, and then he makes his way up to Knoxville. So you see that first day visit, but then we get notified the next morning that hey, Sam Leavitt's extending that visit for another day, and you start hearing the talks about how Leavitt and Halsley, his brother, have a connection back at Utah State. You're seeing the familiarity. You're seeing the system. Hearing about how he spent the night with Josh Heupel eating dinner, and then the next morning having breakfast with Joey Halsey. I mean, I don't think that's for no reason. I don't think that's buying time if he's still communicating with the staff and spending in-person time with them. I think that Miami visit was always lined up. But if you really want to look at it with the tinfoil hat on, I mean, 2 days in Knoxville, 1 day at Miami after they had that, huge win against Ole Miss. But I think that Miami visit was always going to happen. I think, Miami and LSU were the front runners, but I think those 2 days here in Knoxville were critical. And I think it's a realistic option that, that Tennessee is just in the thick of it with those programs as well, man. I know that people are kind of up and down about it, but I think, I think it was huge having that extra visit, getting to know the staff, having some familiarity. And I think that Tennessee went all in on their offer and their approach, showing that, Sam, hey, this is a realistic opportunity. This is what we did with Joey Aguilar last year, a top 10 offense. And we know that you're the #1 player in the portal. They obviously gave him a good pitch, and we'll see what happens. But I think it definitely means something that he stayed 2 days.
Do you guys think that these longer recruitments, these slower recruitments, kind of fall into Tennessee's hands a little bit better, into their play style a little bit better? That it's kind of the coaches' personalities a little bit more, not just the longer visit like Scoops is talking about, but the actual whole recruitment. You kind of seen it with Coleman. These guys that, yes, they take multiple visits, but they take each single visit and then come to a decision. Then they go back to a team that they choose versus these kids that go to a couple schools and just go home with somebody that day, right? They drop the bag, they jump on the board or jump in the boat that day. Do you think that it's kind of when you can really get to know the coaching staff, really get to talk to Heupel and not just a visit or not just an interview, when you really get to see his personality, does that seem to play into Tennessee's hands better? Because it has, at least it has in the past for some high school recruits, but it seems like Coleman is a primary example, but it seems like that happens with these transfer guys also.
Man, I think there's so many layers to what you just said. Because look at a guy like Amari Campbell. That dude went in the portal knowing exactly where he was going. He wanted to come play for Jim Knowles at Tennessee. I don't think there was ever even a hesitation. I do think Chaz Coleman ultimately wanted to go play at Ohio State, but I think Tennessee dropped a big fat stack of cash and he couldn't turn it down. Now, how much of that was Coach AJ? How much of that was Coach Garner? How much of that was Jim Knowles versus just cold, hard cash? I don't know if Nelson's still in the chat, but we had a little text exchange laughing, and he's like, Boogie, if they drop the bag, I'm moving to Alaska if I have to. And I said, bro, I drove an 89 Escort in high school. I'd be right beside you on the bench if they dropping that money for me. Some people, it's all about cash. Some people know where they're going. But I think if it's a true recruitment, then I think Coach VAWLS onto it, man. And especially when you're talking about relationships, when you're talking about opportunity, but more specifically, I saw this post on VolQuest, and I'm like, man, that dude's onto something. When it comes to quarterback, Coach, you give me Josh Heupel, and you give me 2 days and let him sell a college quarterback on what he can do for them, I think it's going to be hard to turn around unless this person just wants money or their mind is made up.
I almost talked on mute there. I almost had a plug, brother. I almost had a plug. I think it's a huge selling thing. And like, look, you can instantly point to, hey, guess what? You're going to miss spring ball. We just had a quarterback miss spring ball. Look at what I was able to do with him. The proof is in the pudding, right? So number one, you can point there. Number two, you can just really, like you said, pick off that scab and understand how they want to use you. You know, Joey could run and when you got him into a spot, right? But he wasn't a true threat with his legs like Sam is. We all know this offense has another dimension when that quarterback is a true threat with his legs. I think he could sell him on that as well. So I think we have a puncher's chance in this fight. I don't know if we'll win it or lose it. I don't really have a good, feel for it, to be honest. But I do think we have a puncher's chance in it. And nothing for nothing, Boogie. I wouldn't be mad if Tennessee went after another quarterback in that picture named Hussein Longstreet out of Centennial High School right here in Southern California. Passed for 4,000 yards his senior year and 3,800 his junior year. That kid is a dude, absolute dude. But I digress. I know that's not a thing right now.
Well, let me tell you what is a thing, and that's Lane Kiffin. That is Lane Kiffin going after Longstreet. Pete Nakos put out the latest update on Leavitt and said the top available player in the portal is headed back to Arizona following his visit to Miami. LSU remains a top contender to land Leavitt. He also took a visit to Tennessee this past week, but the Volunteers are waiting for a final decision on Joey Aguilar's eligibility. I know, look, I was in that boat too when Lane flew to Knoxville. I'm like, man, is LSU about to drop the bag? It felt like it was Tennessee, LSU, and Miami. But now there's talk about Longstreet and LSU. Said Oregon had emerged as the top team to watch in the recruitment of Longstreet when he entered the portal, but Lane Kiffin and LSU are getting the former five-star recruit on campus first. Longstreet backed up. I don't even know how to say this name, but I played him all year long. Jaden Maeva. I want to say Rocky Maivia, but the bottom line is USC's quarterback. As a true freshman at USC, with Leavitt still taking visits, Kiffin is expected to push for Longstreet. Oregon is squarely in the mix for Raiola and waiting on an NFL draft decision for Moore. Scoops, when you hear that that Lane and LSU moving towards Longstreet, does that make you kind of think this is Tennessee and Miami for Leavitt?
I do. I think that, Tennessee and Miami are the two teams right now that are probably trending the most and make the most sense. You saw Lane come and try to pull off a heist in Tyson McGee in an airport in Knoxville. I don't think that Leavitt would have got on that plane to Miami if it was a successful sales pitch. I mean, there was rumors that Leavitt would, maybe circle back and go to Baton Rouge today after the Miami visit. Sounds like he went home. He's going to process his decision. You're seeing LSU have the USC backup on campus. They also had the Elon quarterback. That's a top FCS quarterback on campus. Sounds like they're expecting a commitment from him tomorrow. So, I mean, I think that they're doing an insurance plan as well. There's not a single quarterback on that roster. So I don't think one of those getting in the boat would eliminate Sam Leavitt from that competition. I think that he would know he can go there and still start, but I think they're definitely covering their tracks. So if they're taking those two quarterbacks, that makes me think that it's a Tennessee Miami battle for Sam Leavitt, and that's just in a wait and see approach. No one really knows. I feel like a lot of teams, they feel good coming out of that visit, but this family doesn't talk at all. They don't really say much in interviews at all. They haven't had an approach. So, I mean, they've just been taking these visits, and we'll see what happens. But I think right now the two teams that make sense is Tennessee and Miami.
Does it not seem like it's check versus connection here? You've seen Leavitt spend extra days in Tennessee, get to know everybody, spend extra time with the coaches. Then you got Miami, who just came off a win, going to the championship, and bringing in a $20 million check, an extra $20 million. And not only you get $3 million for your travel expenses or something along those lines. That's the rumor mill going around the internet. I don't know if that's factual, but regardless, you're looking at a little over $20 million that just fell in their lap. So you'd like to think if they're serious, if they really want Leavitt, they're going to drop the bag. So it's how much is Tennessee willing to spend? You have to imagine we're already going to overspend a little bit because of our necessity, because the pool's getting smaller. So how much of it comes down to just money? Why didn't Leavitt stay a couple days longer at Miami? Why didn't he visit with or spend more time with the coaches at Miami? So it really seems like it's coming down to the classic battle of, do you want the check or do you want the place that you might feel is best for you?
Yeah, I also, just in the chat real quick, want to clear up something about Longstreet, because I've seen a lot of people talking about possibly them picking up both of them. Longstreet has made it clear he is going to go start wherever he goes. It is highly important to him. It's why he left USC. It's the whole thing behind him. Unless they hand the dude a gigantor bag, which he was already getting at USC, I just don't see that happening.
Let me hit some super chats real quick. Keith Pylon dropped the 20 spot. That's an orange wood. We got to play the clip.
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
Shout out, Keith. We appreciate you, my man. Also, Fly Fish dropped the 20 spot. We'll do it again.
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
I think they're telling Coach Jay to strike up the banjo, because we need one more $20 super chat, and we will watch film on not only Dejuan Lane, but also on Chaz Coleman. Flyfish says, need some good old coach film study. The question for this staff has never been about their evaluations in the portal, but the quantity. I think we talked about attacking the portal last year and how Tennessee was going to spend money. I think we're seeing that this year. I think we are seeing what we wanted last year. I don't think we're there yet. Whoever said it earlier, whether it was Fowl or Scoops or Coach, whoever said it, I don't think we're quite where we want to be, but we got momentum and we are heading in the right direction. If we continue to put on more steam, I think we're going to be pretty dang happy with this class. You got to get a quarterback. We have to solve the quarterback position, whether it's Joey Aguilar gets another year, whether it's Leavitt, or whether they figure something out that we don't even know about. You got to get a quarterback. You got to have a running back. You got to have a body in that running back room. We'll talk about a couple here in just a minute. But I think defensively, you're adding the right guys. You just have to continue to add the right guys. Terry Maples dropped $1. Shout out, Terry. We appreciate you, my man. Reaper Scout became a member of the channel. Anita or Billy Thomas also became a member of the channel. I think we're about 30 away from giving away some free merchandise. We appreciate you guys. Timothy McGee says, speaking of the fans, Coach Johnny Major said it best. No matter what you do, UT fans are the legion of the miserable. That's why we sell a shirt that says Negavol. Go grab it. Or if you want to, Timothy, I appreciate you, but I think you need the certified ball-knowing realist. I think you need that shirt, Timothy. Go grab it at bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. Orange Sea Line, that's Gary. Member for 21 months. We appreciate you. He says, kept telling people the portal is a 2-week marathon, not a 2-day sprint. The non-ball knowers were we Chicken Littles, Jim Knowles ball boys. Well, Gary, we sell a shirt that says that you're a certified ball-knowing realist, and I think you need that shirt as well. What do you?
I was just going to say, on this day of our Lord, Sunday, the 11th of January, 2026, Gary and I are on full agreement. Mark it down. Everyone remember this day, a day that will live in infamy forever.
It'll change soon enough. Me and Timothy agreed.
Give it a
What, last
minute.
live stream? That's right
Yeah,
out the window again. Luke Thompson for 2 says, Dorfy, shout out Luke. We appreciate you. Timothy for another 5. The beach or Miami or UT. I am fond of both. Hard decision for me. My wife asked me, I was talking about Leavitt. She said, why would anybody want to go to Miami? Let's just say I got slapped within about 2 minutes of that question being asked, because I gave an honest answer of why anybody would want to, well, maybe just a cold-blooded man would want to go to Miami. Nick Barnhart drops a 20 spot. That is an Orange Boy. We'll play the clip.
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
Shout out, Nick. Nothing to say, just a tip in the old tip jar. We appreciate you guys for the support, man. We got some film to get into. We'll do that here in just a second. Lastly, on the quarterback position, the kid from Missouri, Scoops, fallback option. The kid, he came into town. He visited. Matt Zenit said he's going to take this trip. Everybody is in full-blown panic mode. Fallback option, plan C, maybe D, E, F. Would you be satisfied there?
I mean, if it was a last case scenario, maybe. I think it's an insurance plan. I think it's a covering your tracks, getting visits on, on campus that, just makes sense in case the worst case scenario happens. But I mean, if you don't hear on Leavitt, or say Leavitt goes to Miami, you don't hear good news on Joey, I don't think that it would shift to Bo Prabula. I think that Tennessee would, maybe there's, like I said, a couple of weeks ago, I don't think that maybe the next quarterback at Tennessee is currently in the transfer portal, or maybe that they would go and target someone else. But I think this is like a covering your tracks, making sure you do all the interviews you can. Doesn't hurt to have a guy come on a visit. I think Virginia feels really good. They just hosted him today, and I think they feel good about where they're at right now in that situation. I think he's further down Tennessee's list. But seeing that headline come out when it's either you're on the high of Sam Leavitt, or you're thinking that he's Miami bound, no matter how you feel, it was like a kick in the groin. You're like, oh, is this really where we're going next? I don't think so. I think there'll be more options in between, but definitely a name to keep in mind just in case we do get to that situation.
I think we can all agree that if it's Bo Prabula, that it's going to be a true competition, right? That's when it starts turning into see what we got, see how far GMAC can progress, see what Faison looks like when he comes in. I think this is, if you watch his limited time at Penn State, you had some high hopes, and you watched Missouri, and it kind of just fell flat. It wasn't exactly what anybody expected, I don't think. So you never know. Anybody working with Heupel, it seems to always elevate their game. It could turn into a starter for Tennessee, but you got to think that would be more of a true competition, in my opinion.
Well, let's talk about the big commitments that came in the last 24 hours. Chaz Coleman, Dejuan Lane, and then also another one that I want to talk about, and that's Gavin Freeman. We're also going to kind of bleed in some targets here and just kind of have a conversation about it. Coach is going to drop some film in, so we'll kind of go, I guess, one by one here. And let's start again. Dude, I wish you could see the tabs I've got open. I'm just scrolling through. I feel like I'm just scrolling through. Yes, a lot of this is Coach Jay's fault. But let's start with Chaz Coleman. Again, I know we've already touched on it a little bit. We've talked about the money. We've talked about how big this one was. This was like priority number one for me. Scoops, when you saw, by the way, shout out Scoops, man. Y'all got to go follow the guy. Vols Scoops on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. Scoops had this one. Scoops thrives on being legit. He needs legitimacy. He needs to be valued. He needs to feel important. Scoops texted me and said, Boogie, what are you doing? Go make the video. Scoops had this. Scoops tweeted out, about 20, 30 minutes before the commitment. He used the words trending. He used all those little buzzwords. Scoops, you knew. You nailed it. And then we celebrated this dang thing. This one was big.
Oh, yeah. No, it was definitely big. The overall buzz of some guys that are already in the boat. You're seeing them get excited about the class, and then some guys, whenever you hear about the rumors are going in how it sounds like Tennessee didn't have to do that. Chaz Coleman said, "Hey, I'm in the boat. No need to come. I'm in." And to see some of the players' just reactions about that, the excitement leading up to it, and obviously you want to use the right words. You don't want to announce anything until everything's official. So it was trending in the right direction. But then you're starting to see the media side. I think Nakos came out and even said so as well. Update. Tennessee, Ohio State and LSU not feeling confident. Tennessee is a team trending here right now. And then 20, 30 minutes later, you get, the number 1 edge rusher, number 3 overall player in the quarter, in the boat, man. This is an absolute massive pickup. 8 total tackles, 1 sack, 1 forced fumble. You watch the film of this guy, the strip sack by Coleman, picked up by Amari Campbell. I think, this guy is an absolute unit. There's a reason why Ohio State wanted him. I think he's a projected NFL draft pick. Obviously, this is a massive pickup, man. One that you didn't think was going your way, but like you said, Tennessee drops the bag, they get it done. And this is one where you lose a Jordan Ross, you lose a Caleb Herring. Landing Chaz Coleman, he is an absolute plug and play day 1 starter who is going to be a high upside, getting mocked in the NFL draft in the coming years. Absolute massive pickup.
Yeah. Well, what do you say, Coach? I'm going to make you go last because we'll go right into the film on you. But okay, Fowl, what do you take about people saying unproven, right? He's unproven. And when we talk about spending money and we talk about dropping the bag, you're also talking about a guy that played 144 snaps, 8 tackles, 1 sack last year. Where do you gauge that value on whether or not an unproven guy in Chaz Coleman, even though he's the number 1 ranked edge, number 3 overall player, Charles Powered on 3's raving about him. We made a big deal out of him. Everybody's talking about him. Unproven, but we dropped the bag. You think it's worth it, or kind of just, gauge that a little bit?
Well, you see all the rankings and checking all the boxes across the board for all the talking heads and all the riders and things like that. But what seals the deal for me, I mean, we all know what kind of an athlete he is. There's a reason he's ranked those things. It's a huge pickup for Tennessee. But you always wonder, are we paying too much? Could he still turn out to be a bust or things like that kind of creep into your mind, even though you right out the gate were over the top excited, but then you start thinking about all the moving parts of it. But what seals the deal for me is Knowles just worked with him for a year. Knowles wanted this guy on his defense. If you're this highly graded athlete, this highly recruited of an athlete, the fact that you have a coach on staff that's saying, yes, spend the money, go out and get this guy. I need this guy on my team. That's what comforts me when I start wondering about how much do you want to put into this? How much is he worth? All those kind of things. The fact that the guy who's directly going to be calling the plays, the guy who's directly going to be putting him in the positions in his defense, in his schemes, if he's checking the boxes for him after he's worked with him for a year, that seals the deal for me. That puts me all in.
Coach, we're going to jump in the film room. Before we do, I'm going to go ahead and pull up the plays, but before we get into it, give us kind of just your quick rundown, and maybe you can talk about that too. Chaz Coleman, even though he's unproven, I love that Fowl gave the answer I wanted. I think Jim Knowles knows what he's looking for. Jim Knowles got to see him practice all year. Jim Knowles got to see him perform in games. Jim Knowles knows what he's getting in Chaz Coleman. He knew he wanted Chaz Coleman, right? He made him that priority. But what do you think about a guy that's unproven on the field, dropping the bag on him, and then just give us your brief rundown of his scouting report? We'll watch a little film on him.
I mean, you got to trust the guy, right? Like he knows what he wants in that position, and as mentioned, and we're going to see a prime example of it right away with Coleman. Well, maybe right away. It depends on which game we start with. Start with the Ohio State game. We'll see it right away. If not, we'll see it in a play. But what makes Knowles Leo truly unique is it allows him to create a first level defender wherever he wants along the defensive line. If he wants to put you 0 straight over the center, he can. If he wants to put you like an up will sitting in a mug, he can. Like he can just move you wherever he wants, from anywhere from 7 to 7 across the O-line fit. So it creates this unveiled run strength ad that's a nuisance in the field. I've used it as the word chaotic a lot. It creates chaos across the side. So I think he's got a pretty dang good idea. I was just Boogie and Eric Kane like to look at PFF grades, so I just got curious after watching the game, he had a high PFF grade, and Chaz Coleman was graded higher PFF ever than Abdullah Carter was in the mid 95, I believe, which is really, really special. I get why they dropped the bag on this kid, and I'm not worried about it. Sometimes I get worried if you're doing it off potential more than production. This, I would say, is a case where you can make a really, really strong case that they should have dropped this bag.
All right, we'll go with the Penn State game first, since you were kind of
That's fine.
leading into that. Again, if I can find it as I sort through Coach
Ohio
Shay's
State
catalog
one.
of 8,000.
Sorry.
Yeah, but you know what? You sent me 6 clips, and they're like from the same effing game, and I'm like, how am I supposed to tell these apart? But here we go. We got it queued up. We got it dialed up. I know they are on the same team, Coach. So the same game, same team, and I'm like, well, you got Chaz Coleman with the pressure here. You got Amari Campbell batting down a pass. You got there's so much going on. I'm like, there's so many highlights to look at for all the guys that are committed to Tennessee. I don't know what's going on.
You know, on the first Lane highlight I sent you, and I told you disregard it. We'll go to another one. On that highlight, and then another highlight. There, you could actually review 2 of the players we got on the same play, which I love. I love. But okay, right now, once again, all certified ball knowers, be watching, right? Let's find our Leo out on this field. He's an edge guy. He's a Leo, right? Let's point to him. Where's Chaz Coleman on this field, ladies and gentlemen? Any guesses? Any guesses? Anybody got?
He ain't screaming off the edge like everybody thinks he's going to be doing.
Anyone? All right.
It looks like he's over the nose, but
dead over that
nose. Sorry, Coach.
You got it. Dead over that nose. So, like I said, it allows you to create a first-level defender, usually where the highest probability of run is. 9 times out of 10, that's where you're going to find Coach Knowles' Leo. You see where they are, right? 3rd and goal. We're worried about the middle. We're worried about giving up that middle draw in case they want it. A lot of teams will do what? They'll spread you out to run right at you when they're in that goal line. You know, this playbook, I'm going to have you play it slow after the first time, but I want you to play it just all the way through the very first time. Guys, they call Coach Knowles gave him a nickname of the Chazmanian Devil because you know how he's a little tornado and he likes to spin. Probably one of the most elite spin moves I've ever seen by a player. You're going to see it right here, and then we can kind of talk about it. Boogie, go ahead and give me this spin move, and just watch the speed that he executes this play with, and then we'll talk about it. Just kills that center, creates a rushed throw from a freshman quarterback, and then you know, we'll watch it slow the second time. I'll Boogie pause it after the very first step he takes. And we'll kind of talk about what happens here. All right, give me that first step, right? So he's attacking the bottom side of the screen. He's immediately going to throw his offhand right towards him to get a feint out of that offensive lineman. And you'll notice when he takes his next step, even if it's somewhat sideways, we spend a lot of time trying to teach Leos and linebackers and edge players that when they're going to spin, we need you to take your spin step upfield, not laterally. We need it upfield. Boogie, see if you can give me that spin step after this in a pause. Let's see that spin step. Sorry about that. There you go. See that next step? It's upfield, right? We want to pirouette just like ballet. I know some of y'all were talking about teaching football players ballet. And then after this, you don't really get it in this play, but you get it a lot in a couple of other his plays. After that, you want to ice pick him. And what I mean by ice pick him is after you spin through, you want to use that backhand to literally push off your off. I know you can't see it on my chair, but push off that offensive lineman. You want to ice pick him. You see he kind of gets a little bit of that pick him. It springs you off that offensive lineman, and then bam, you're in that quarterback's face instantly. A freshman executing spin moves like that, that's and he makes it look so easy. You know, a spin move looks easy and fancy. It's not that easy to execute it right. Attacking with your feet, At the same time, in sequence, that you punch and feint with your offhand. At the same time, you, like I said, take that step upfield, not laterally, and then get that ice pick and push off the backside. Any thoughts, guys?
Well, I was just going to bring. I was letting you cook there, Coach.
No,
I didn't
go
want to
ahead.
interrupt, but one of the things I want everybody to think about, the fact that he's a freshman, for one, doing all this, and it's against an elite playoff team. This is Ohio State and a playoff team. So just keep, as you're watching these and as Coach is talking about it, realize what he's doing, how old he is, and who he's doing it against. This is not just some scrub team, some random school out of nowhere on an off week almost, or scrimmage, as Boogie likes to say. Look at the competition he's playing against.
Yep.
Yeah, he's playing, some of the best in the Big Ten. Just overall, just the way he's, explosive off the line, getting there at his size right now. He's going to be, coming to the SEC, where in this system he's going to have an advantage day one, and that he's only going to get better. He's not even playing to his full potential yet. So you're going to see more in this next clip. I've already seen.
He's still growing, guys. It's crazy.
Yeah, this kid is, his projection is legit, man. They spent the money correctly.
All right, so moving on here. Everyone's seen the clip from this game where he has the beautiful strip fumble, right? They've seen a couple plays usually from this game. He has some really, really pretty swim moves in this game. Right here, you are going to see him in more of that traditional Leo roll at the top of the screen, shaded outside of that wing back. I don't know, Boogie. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Now, this quarterback is a flight risk for FIU. He's got really, 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 really good legs on him. So you always have to be watching that as your backside Leo. Boogie, go ahead and give me a mesh point with that defensive lineman, just to that mesh point. Oh, there you go. Now he attacks that inside shoulder, right? Nice shoulder shiver. He's got a strong occupying that gap. Now the quarterback's going to start to float to the bottom of the screen. Boogie, go ahead and give me a step or two by him. Give me a step. Boom, boom, boom. Stop. There you go. Now, at this point, Coleman's recognized, right? We talked about how well Noles people recognize. He recognizes that quarterback is starting to break pocket. So he's going to flatten out. But when we flatten out as linebackers and Leos, we don't mean actually flat, right? We mean good angles. And if you're going to take a correct angle, you're going to want to take an angle at that running back right above the 9 in the 2nd and 19. Boogie, you want to go ahead and circle him for me? See that? There you go, right there. That's the angle. He sees that safety valve. He sees the quarterback. He's going to take a hard angle in case the quarterback goes running, and he's going to take the other angle in case he decides to dump this off. He's going to try to dump it off and watch the twitch athleticism. He's actually going to break that pass up. Watch that in full speed again, because it's almost hard to catch it all if you don't see it as quickly as he does it. Boom. Ball's knocked down. Dang near took it. Dang near picked it off with his length, with one hand. I mean, that's top tier athleticism. That's dropping the bag athleticism. Here you go again. A little slow mo. Boom. Almost on the fingertips. Whew. Just those are those little plays. Like, as a coach, that I lick my chops over, because we can watch bull rush, we can watch spin, we can watch them just beat a offensive tackle off the edge 100 times, right? But those little inches in games, right, that mean big things, he does extremely well for a freshman.
Just a disruptor, man.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Scoops.
I was going to say, the way he adjusts in real time, like his moves, it's not as easy as he makes it look, man.
No.
And the way he's doing that at his size, like it's
That's
absolutely crazy. He is exactly. As a freshman, he is a freak athlete. The way he's been able to adjust in live action like that, man. I mean, absolutely crazy. You don't even think in the beginning of the clip that he's going to have the chance to make that play. But his athleticism, the freak ability, he's there. He's stopping a huge gain right there. Even though, like, it just absolutely athletic freak.
I think what you guys are saying is all the confirmation you need, right? Was it worth it to drop the bag? Freak athlete. Like if this kid was a 5-star in high school and we dropped the bag, everybody would be going nuts. But because he didn't produce as a freshman, but he only played in 144 snaps. Like I would love to do the math. I probably should have done this. If I was good at my job, I would have done the math and look at his production in 144 snaps versus maybe an upperclassman edge rusher and just do the math out and see kind of where he stacks up against that. But man, Rodney Garner knows, Coach AJ knows, Jim Knowles knows. Let me catch up with you guys in the chat real quick. Tennessee Dude became a member of the channel. Shout out Tennessee Dude. We appreciate you. We need 29 more members. And I say this every stream. We've dropped off around 300, 400 members in the last 28 days. We go into the offseason. This happens every year. We're not doing post-game shows. We're not streaming. Well, we are streaming a lot right now, but we're not streaming five. It might be. It might be.
Someone said that after last.
Yeah. They said it's Coach Jay's fault. You're not getting any members. So if I need to kick Coach Jay off the channel to get some memberships in around here, maybe we'll do it. Now maybe they will come in. I'm putting a link in the chat right now. You can click that link. You can hit the join button down below. It is $1. There is strength in numbers. Put on more steam. We need your support. The super chats help as well. Look, it's a long, hard grind in the offseason, so I'm grateful for you guys and your support. 32 Hot Rod for 2 says, put on more portal steam. GBO. Timothy drops Orange Boy. We'll play the clip.
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
It's typical Timothy McGee arguing with me via Super Chat about a topic that we're not talking about, but I wouldn't have it any other way. I love Timothy. Actually, this came through about 15, 20 minutes ago. He says, you have a quarterback. He's been sitting on the bench for 2 years. Let him cook. Get him ready. Find a wide receiver like Juwan Jennings and have him as a third-string quarterback. Timothy, I love you. Let's just get that new long snapper and make him QB3, and let's ride with George, and let's just go win a natty. We're ready to go. We got to have a quarterback. We're going to get a quarterback. Wayniac gifted a Talkin VAWLS membership. Shout out, Wayne. I appreciate you, man. You guys gifting them helps as well. 28 more. We'll give away a free T-shirt. Why not? We'll give away a ball-knowing realist T-shirt. Why not? Shout out, Wayne. All right, let's talk about another Tennessee commitment that came through shortly after, man. It was just like dominoes falling left and right. Actually, that's not it. I just pulled that one up, but let me go to another Vols Scoops tweet, and it's this one. Boom. Breaking. Penn State transfer safety Dejuan Lane has committed to Tennessee. This was another big one. This is more momentum. I don't have his ranking. 6'2", 212, 2 seasons at Penn State, played in 29 games, 44 tackles, 2.5 TFLs, a sack, and an interception. Falme, what did you think when you saw this one roll through?
Just a big physical defender, right? Like this guy, it sealed the deal for me. You get another guy in the backfield that already knows the system. You get another guy who's comfortable with Coach Knowles. You get a big physical player, fits the mold. His athleticism kind of pops off the page right out the gate. Getting these two guys back to back, man, I'm just excited. Just wanted to see what they can do on this field and see how we can improve. Just another one to add to the list of the Nittany Vols.
That was my favorite quote coming out of his commitment. He said, it's a perfect fit for me. I'm comfortable with the scheme. I've been it for a little over a year now. I understand Jim Knowles and what he wants to do with this defense. If everyone understands and does their job, it could be very lethal. I know we beat this point into the ground, but Coach, if you got a player on your team and you know you can rely on them, you know you can lean on them, you know that they understand exactly what you want them to do and the guys around them to do, how valuable is that to you as a coach?
Huge, and especially in the secondary under Knowles. Like, you just rely on your safeties and your corners a whole lot. It's why I fully anticipate us to get maybe 3, 4 more DBs in this portal. I could literally see that. Like, it wouldn't shock me at all if we did. So having someone like that, and this kid does a good job of quarterbacking the defense when he's in that back as well. Kind of got a knack for the football. Seems to turn up where the ball's a lot. And hey, when he gets it in his hand, like if he picks the ball, he's pretty nifty with that ball in his hands too. So you got to watch out for that as well. Pretty sure tackler. got a good rap to him, good nose, good knack, and understands the system. It's why he's here, and I think he's perfect, man. I couldn't be happier about it.
Quick little foul fact. You think of a guy at 6'2", 200 plus pounds, 212 pounds, running a 10.6 in the 100. Just talk about the size and the speed there, fitting Jim Knowles' scheme. I've already played 29 games. I mean, just checking all the boxes. So I just want to throw in that, just the picture, 6'2", 200 pounds, safety. You can walk up in the box and with 10.6 speed.
Yeah. That's go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, this one after Coleman, when you go 4 for 4 on the Penn State 4, kind of like an adrenaline shot in the arm, just how it happened back to back. But no, a top 20 safety in the portal right now, according to Rivals and On3. So you're getting an elite body, you're getting a guy with knowledge, elite speed, like you said as well. I'm sure we're watching the film, a guy that's very, up front, goes and makes contact, immediately reads. So I'm really fired up about this, man. You heard the name King Mac early on in the process when the portal opened, and then you saw Dejuan Lane, and people thought that maybe Mac wasn't interested, but you saw him to go to NC State. I think Knowles and that staff, especially Anthony Poindexter and co, were really confident and excited about Lane and the just increased role he was going to have next year at Penn State. And he was a guy that was going to stay put, but they were able to get him in the portal. Peer recruiting from his teammates, and I think he's going to be significant, in this system next year. And now he kind of capped it off. You got a safety in the system. You got a linebacker. You got a defensive tackle. You got an edge rusher. You have one guy at each main 4 positions, man. That's critical. That's so important for how this defense is going to be installed under Jim Knowles. But man, Dejuan Lane, I think that he's going to have some of his best football here at Tennessee.
Let's talk about another safety that's not – go ahead, Coach, and then I'm going to transition. We'll come back to some film if you got something else you want to add there on Lane.
I just want to sprinkle in, unless I missed something, Farouk's still on this team, right?
Yep.
This kid is a shining example of someone who could really help Idris Farouk learn Knowles' system quickly. Like, he does a lot of things that Farouk does well. So if you could attach those two at the hip, it'd be a great coup, in my opinion. Just wanted to make that.
Let's talk about another safety that's not from Penn State. And Scoops, I want to talk about some of the dominoes here and how they fall and how this plays out. Tennessee was recruiting 3 safeties heading into yesterday, and it's Dejuan Lane, who's now committed to Tennessee. It was Jonell Aguero, who is now committed to Ole Miss, and TJ Metcalf. And based on what Austin Price, the way that he kind of laid this out here, it was Lane's commitment wasn't supposed to come out until next weekend. Whether that was by design from Tennessee, let's just call a spade a spade. Oh, yeah. Whether that was designed by Tennessee to try to get all 3 guys in the boat, or that was his personal decision, bottom line, that commitment was not supposed to come until next weekend. Now it leaked, whether that be through media or an agent or whatever. The news leaked, he pulls the trigger, he's in the boat, and then you see Jonell Aguero immediately commit to Ole Miss, and then that immediately leads to a lot of chatter around Metcalf, who now appears to be trending to Tennessee. I'll take 2 of the 3. What are your thoughts on Metcalf, who's also one of the top safeties in the portal?
No, I think it was definitely strategic. Dejuan Lane was a guy that was obviously probably going to be following his teammates, his former staff. Sounded like it was going to be a later in the week, this week kind of thing. I do think it was by design. You don't want to upset anybody. You don't want to make anyone feel uncomfortable. You want to get them in the boat, signed, sealed, delivered. So maybe if Tennessee was trying to get Aguero in the boat and then take Lane on top of that to kind of maybe avoid the being worried about the safety position, I think that maybe that did scare him off. I think it was very strategic how you immediately saw them, pivot to TJ Metcalf before he got off campus. They gave him probably knowing that was going to be something that might happen. Goes to Ole Miss. So, it sucks when you miss out. I mean, that's a former 5-star player, a guy that has SEC experience at Georgia. So I think they were definitely trying to get all of them in the boat to get the best overall class. And it's a business in this game. Like, we know with transfer portal, it's different than high school recruiting. So you want to get these guys locked down. You want to give them a vision. You want to, throw that offer out there and get them, in the boat before they get off campus. But sometimes things leak. I don't know if maybe it was a former teammate, being excited, saying that he was next, or just the peer recruiting and the writing on the wall, knowing that you possibly had another guy at your position coming in. But Tennessee wasting no time. And this is what we talked about earlier. You hit, you miss, but you have that list of guys, and TJ Metcalf isn't a terrible fallback option. Starting safety at Michigan. Really fired up about this one. I think Tennessee's been trending there. Hit the visit home run and just been hitting a lot of these visits absolutely out the park, man. So hopefully we can get some good news regarding this one here soon. But sounds like the Vols are the team to beat in this recruitment.
Coach, have you seen much TJ Metcalf? Any thoughts on his game? Compare him, and then we'll jump back into the film room. Fowl, you stay on your point too there.
Yeah, I like him. He's got a nice gun when he shoots it, right? Can really come up and pop you. Moves through the different phases very well. See ball, get ball kind of defender. I would be super stoked to get this guy. I've got to be honest, when he first hit the portal, it just didn't strike me as one we had that good of a chance with, but I'm certainly happy that we do. And just keep giving me these safeties, man. We have been deprived as Vol fans of safeties, but this Auburn corner with Ty Redmond, maybe give me the corner from Oregon that's in town right now, and another safety. Man, we're cooking with gas now. Let's turn the burner on, get the wok fired up, and make some fried rice. Let's go. It gets me fired up.
Just short and sweet, kind of just a guy that fits the Jim Knowles mold, right? He's another guy, 6'1", 200 pounds, big physical kid, sure tackler. You always see like these guys in coverage, but Knowles is bringing in guys who can tackle, right? That I know that's something Tennessee's been starving for just a little bit in the secondary. So just fits the build there. And another versatile kid. Almost every DB we brought in or been seriously in talks with is a versatile kid that can play multiple positions in the secondary if need be, nickel and safety interchangeably, however Knowles might need it. So just another kid that fits the build, fits the mold for Jim Knowles. Only what mark against him, you could say he hasn't been in this system yet, but then you put him beside Dejuan Lane, who has played this position, can coach him up on the field. Just another home run get it if Tennessee can get it done.
It's almost like Jim Knowles knows what he wants, huh? Almost like he knows the type of player he
I know
wants.
I keep repeating myself, man, but we're kind of driving it home. Like all these guys fit the mold. I mean, the guy who's done it this long, like Knowles, he has a guy in mind, right? He can look at film and see that's my guy, that's not my guy. So all these guys that he's picking out, we can pretty much sell ourselves on. This is going to be a fit for Tennessee.
By the way, Scoops, I was hoping you would just destroy Coach Jay right there. The Oregon kid canceled his visit.
Yeah, I was there.
I knew that's where you were going.
Yeah.
And the way that he yelled at you the last time we were live, the way that he made everybody feel uncomfortable. Scoops, let him know. Tell him.
Former number one JUCO cornerback, I think in last year's class. One of the top coverage cornerbacks in the country last year in his limited snaps. But yeah, Tennessee canceling that visit there. They've done that sometimes. A few instances so far in the portal where guys are set to visit, or maybe those guys canceled their visit. But Tennessee's been strategic about it. I think they kind of have a vision of what they want at the cornerback position. I'd look at some of the guys that left uncommitted that we're at that position. Whether it's the Oklahoma transfer that's still available. I think Tennessee's doing their due diligence, and I wouldn't be surprised to see some guys pull the trigger here soon.
Look, you got to give Coach Jay a hard time there. But on the flip side of that, never once mentioned Metcalf's name to Coach Jay. Never once said we were going to talk about him. But guess what? He knows. And all these guys, man. Y'all see my face all day because I'm in here putting out videos. These dudes are putting in work too. They know what's going on. They have their finger on the pulse. But after Coach Jay yelled at Scoops the other night, made everybody, not just us, made everybody in the chat uncomfortable. I got Nelson tweeting out, talking about it and saying, man, poor Scoops. And
I know.
Oh, man, they wanted to start a fundraiser for Scoops. They thought he was going to be homeless because Coach Jay yelled at him. His freaking fiance left him. Good Lord have mercy. All because Coach Jay and his
all because of me.
Let me in a super chat real quick. Angry Titan for 5 is jumping in here with Timothy and says it's GMAC time in Tennessee. Angry Titan is the OG of the door fee. It's good to see you in the chat. My friend Sword the Demon's been a member for 33 months. Taking a tool from someone who doesn't know how to use it and using it with knowledge will make it look magic. These guys are getting me pumped up. That's a nice analogy. Shout out Sword the Demon. We got 700 people watching live. Put on more steam. Do us a favor. If you hadn't hit the thumbs up yet, hit the thumbs up. That'll take you 2 seconds. I know I asked for memberships, and I appreciate those. They're only $1. You can hit the join button, but hitting the like button, hit the thumbs up. That's free, man. That's free. If you feel sorry for Scoops after the way that Coach Jay yelled at him? Smash the thumbs up. Let's see how many. Let's see how many people will hit the thumbs up based on feeling sorry for Vols Scoop. I'm going to the studio and I'm going to take a look at it now. And I got to see. I know people were upset. I know people were mad. Only 300 people have hit the thumbs up. If you feel sorry for Scoops, if you feel like Coach Jay mistreated him, please, by all means, destroy the thumbs up. If you think that Scoops deserved it, then go ahead and hit the thumbs down and let me know that Scoops deserved to be treated the way that Coach Jay treated him. We're up to 343 likes now. You guys put on more steam for Scoops. Let's jump back into the film room. Let's rewind. Let's go back to Dejuan Lane, Tennessee's latest commitment at the safety position. Man, I'm roasting Coach Jay, and I've completely lost track of where my film breakdowns are. All right, we're going to look at 2025 Pinstripe Bowl. Pinstripe, is that right? Here we go.
Yeah. Good old Yankee Stadium, bud.
Boom. There we go. All right, there we go.
Good old Yankee Stadium. All right, so Clemson showing single wing, right? So if we want to look for Lane is going to be the safety, kind of at a diangle. Yeah, there you go. Good, Bug. All right, so the running back number 6, the wide receiver number 6, who came into motion from the top of the screen down to the bottom of the screen, that is going to be the gentleman responsible for blocking him on this play. If you kind of want to pick that up from the beginning, we're going to get a delayed blitz here on a dive play. And how many of y'all in the chat watched under Tim Banks a really, really slow safety go on a delayed blitz or a creep up blitz and take forever to get there? I think this is more of a creep blitz. My head's flipping on me because I've seen too much film today. But he's going to come on this shot blitz, and just the timing here is really, really special. It's something that coaches work with on players in game prep week to get the snap cadence, that synergy of an offense right, and it's something that we were horrible at from the safety position the last 3 years. Boogie, why don't you go ahead and let this play, let it run once fast, and then we'll kind of slow it down on the creep. Boom, blows it up, wraps it up. Yeah, you kind of got to sneak in there, but it's a beautiful tackle too. And I just like the subtle, if you could kind of get it right when that wide receiver is about to be in phase with Mr. Lane, pop, it just ducks under, right? Just that speed, that foot speed. And that's not, hey, look, that's not a tight end, right? That's not a offensive tackle. That's a slot wide receiver, right? And he just bursts through, right? Loops around the gap, pops in, and blows this dive play up. And look at the timing. You almost wouldn't think that he would have made it to where there was a 0-yard gain on this play, but just a perfect zip through the A gap, and bang, 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 that play is over before it begins. And look at the ground he closes from the time the quarterback hands the ball off to the time he closes. I think he closes like 8 yards right there in like second and a half or something like that when you do the time. So just in-game, actual applicable in-game speed is what's important. And Mr. Lane has a lot of it, and you see what Coach Knowles likes about him on his run fills right there.
The closing speed just it blows my mind. How quick, like how much ground he covers. You nailed it. You already talked about it. I'm not going to keep talking, but that just, it pops off the film every time I look at it.
Yep.
How much of that is pure athleticism, and how much of that is timing? How much of that is Jim Knowles? Because you mentioned the I call them delayed blitzes, creep blitzes, whatever you want to call it. It was maddening with Tim Banks. When they do it, it's like, this is a pointless blitz. Like you have no chance of making a play. It's so slow and so delayed. Is that timing? Is it speed, or is it system?
It's gonna be both.
It's all the above, and it's something you drill. When I'm going to run a delayed blitz against Clemson, You are watching what formation they're in. There's certain keys you have. There's cadences you pick up on. You run it with your scout team in practice, and you work on it. And it was like we had our feet in cement, like you said, but we saw it coming. We all saw it coming. We all knew it wasn't going to get there and be late. And it was. I know some of y'all were wanting to throw your controller at the TV like Coach Jay was over the last 3 years watching that. It was it was absolutely maddening. But
that first play though, that's what I was talking about, man. First play of the game, very first play, firing off the ball, attacking it, finding who has the ball in hand, making the tackle, not lining up 10 yards off the play, not being complacent, not giving cushion. He's making the play. He's attacking and he gets the tackle. I mean, that's just
no hesitation.
Exactly.
Part of it, I mean, God-given abilities is speed, athleticism is one thing, but then knowing where you're going to be, knowing your cues, knowing what to look for, just adds that much speed to your game, right? So knowing where I'm supposed to be and when I'm supposed to be there. So just elite level play all the way across the board.
And indeed, Wayne, even this kid, even when he tries to pop someone with his shoulder and he shows a little poor head discipline, like that, the eyes aren't up, he's not looking, he still brings his arms with him, which I feel like we never worked with our safeties in our secondary on under Timmy. So on this play, right, we've got trips to the top of the screen. Look, it's what, third and 10 here, right? First and 10, sorry, excuse me. Lane is going to be on the top of the screen. There you go. Now, look at the space between him and the Y slot wide receiver there, the most inside slot wide receiver. Look at that space right there, right? We got 12 yards, 13 yards, right? So when we let this go, so when you have the speed at safety, you can play these kinds of depths that Tim Banks like to play, right? You can give up space and set a trap, right? If I'm Cade Klubnik and I'm looking at this play and I know my slot wide receiver is running a little 5-6 yard comeback on this route, that's looking pretty good to me, right? Especially if the linebacker plays ball on my read, right? Boogie, if you could.
Dude, when you said Boogie, I thought you were going to call me out for audibling to a hitch on NCAA on a Tuesday night.
I thought about it, but
I thought that's where you were going. I swear I thought that's what you were about to say. Anyway, please continue with the film breakdown.
And we can talk about different pacing. If Boogie allows us to get to the third thing on this, you'll even see a different pacing on the next play. But Boogie, right as he kind of crosses the 25-yard line on this play, give me a pause. Right as his foot gets across that first down marker. I mean, when he decides to go, it's instant, right? That's what you want out of a safety, right? It's flat feet at the start of the play, put the ball out. When ball out, see ball, get ball, like we just talked about, right? This ball's out. It's moving quickly here. We allowed that false sense of security. And right now it looks like a first down. Not a first down, sorry, but a nice little pickup here, right, pal? Looks like he's going to get 4 yards and duck in for maybe 5 or 6.
And then it's just the no hesitation there. It's like right, wrong, or indifferent. As soon as the ball snap, go to where you think you're supposed to be at 100 miles an hour, and he gives you that every play. Right, wrong, or indifferent is 100 miles an hour first thing, as soon as the ball snap.
And when you have this kind of speed inside, I want you to take notice of where Amari Campbell is on this play because it's extremely key. Right. He's sitting in the hole. You see where he's at? He's in his wall off. Can you circle him real quick, Bug? Amari Campbell in the middle of the field by the referee. There you go. Look at him in that hole. You would see our linebackers all the time when they'd show a front step and then they'd wall off way too wide, and it would create this gigantic wormhole in the middle of the field, right? Well, when you have a safety that can pop up like this, you don't have to overplay. You can trust the teammate next to you to make a play. Crazy concept, right? Trusting a safety to make a play. Boogie, let's watch him pick up his 5 or 6 yards, right? Yeah, he didn't because we put a lick on him, right? We got had on ball. And like I said, even though he went for that light up hit, you'll notice what he brought with him. He brought his arms around the lower half of the legs and went for that sure-handed tackle as well. There was enough force behind the hit to knock the ball out because we were aiming for the ball, which you should be doing. I just look at that closing speed, man. We have not had that at Tennessee. Yeah, maybe with Boo his freshman year, but really no, he was doing it from the star position.
All right, you guys heard Coach Jay mention Amari Campbell. I told him to do Lane. I told him to do Chaz Coleman. I told him we would see if you guys wanted it. You guys paid for it. Coach Jay sent me 2 breakdown clips on Amari Campbell. There is a new goal in the chat. If you want it, drop those orange boys, and we'll end the show with some Amari Campbell film breakdown. But it's up to you guys. If you want it, we'll do it. If you don't, we won't. But I want to talk about another commitment, and this one was an interesting one for me. And don't pull any punches, guys. Shoot straight with me on this thing. Scoops puts it out, breaking. Oklahoma State transfer wide receiver return specialist Gavin Freeman has committed to Tennessee. When I see return specialist, I think, well, you're selling me on something. Why is he coming here to play wide receiver? Why are we looking to add a wide receiver? What's going on with Gavin Freeman? 5'8", 185 pounds, 2 seasons at Oklahoma before he transferred to Oklahoma State. Breakout year was this past year, 53 catches, 481 yards, and 4 receiving touchdowns. He's got 1 year of eligibility remaining. Scoops, when you see this guy and you wonder what's going on, what are your true thoughts on Gavin Freeman committing to Tennessee?
I think there's some promise from a guy that's coming from a school that, wasn't really, great. Oklahoma State didn't have a great season, but when you see a leading the team in yards, leading receiving yards and touchdowns, and he's transferring out, he's coming to your school, he has SEC experience. I mean, the receiving highlights, something to be excited about, very agile playmaker, one that makes plays, taking risks, doing hurdles, doing all the right things. White lightning, people call him over there. I mean, he makes plays. He's very electric on the field. But when you talk about punt return specialists, what you lost in Boo Carter, not really seeing a heavy return game, a guy that has taken some back to the house, whether it's punt returns or kick returns during his time at Oklahoma State. Even back at Oklahoma was really electric there for the Sooners in his 1 year there. I thought it was a great pickup. I mean, you saw the long snapper and you saw this one, and it's maybe not those best guys that you've been going after in the portal, but these are guys that are going to come in and contribute. And hearing that, hey, this guy's coming in really for not any NIL, just to take a chance to play at the University of Tennessee, come in and have a role, know he's going to be on special teams, and maybe, his experience at the wide receiver position after you lose a Chris Brazzell, after you have that depth, maybe he can come in and have an effect on offense. But this is a guy that's going to, help special teams. And one thing that we didn't have really great last year was special teams, whether it was not returning kicks or fumbles or muffs. That really affected us because we didn't really, we didn't have a D Williams type S guy to put us in good field position or make electric plays when it mattered most. So I think this guy is going to come in and have a role, and his experience alone makes me excited because if we can have an electric kick returner again, man, that'll just help this offense next year.
Hey, I think Scoops nailed it right there. It's a hole that Tennessee needed to fill. We saw that come up in several games in this past season. You didn't get, not only did you not get that spark or flip that field position, this is a guy who can flip the field for you, but we had that miscue or the muffs or the just different plays there at that position. So you bring in a guy that's got 10-6 speed and 100, supposedly clocked over 20 miles an hour, maybe 22 miles an hour, somebody who can provide a spark. You're taking a load off of somebody else that you don't have to put a starting receiver or somebody back there and put extra wear and tear on those guys. So that was an immediate need, I think, for Tennessee, and I think they filled it right here.
I'm going to be the Debbie Downer, Coach, and then I'll let you try to pick us back up off the floor. Because when I saw this kid was visiting, I said, why? And then he commits, and I said, okay. I was asleep. I wake up the next morning, and I see Austin Price put out what Scoops just said, that he's not really coming here with an NIL deal. He's friends with Coach Heupel. His family is friends with Coach Heupel. No NIL deal, basically the equivalent of a scholarship. He's coming here. He's getting his school paid for. No NIL money. That tells me, man, this sounds awful. That tells me all I need to know. Like, if I was expecting this kid to come here and be a difference maker, guess what? He would be asking for some type of NIL deal. But I see the comments, and everybody says this. this. Boogie, don't sleep on him. I see this right here. Go Spartan. Don't sleep on this kid, Boogie. Don't sleep on him. I see so many people talking about it, and I hope this is this year's McAllen Castles. I hope we end up at the orange and white game one year, and his mom looks over and goes, "Are you Boogie Bentley?" And I say, "Yes." And she goes, "I'm Gavin Freeman's mom." And I get to have that weird, awkward interaction because I said this kid's not going to do anything here. Everybody is telling me that he's a return specialist. Okay, let's go look at his return stats. He's returned 11 kickoffs for 207 yards. His career long is 38 yards. He's returned 39 punts for 221 yards. One of those went for a touchdown. Look, I hope the kid comes here and does great. I just think it's a non-factor. Coach, tell me I'm wrong.
You're wrong.
Thank you. Thank you.
I like this pickup, man. I want football players on my team, right? Like, and this kid is a football player, in my opinion. Like, I watched a lot of film on him. You could tell he's one of those great locker room assets, number one. You can tell he's a worker and is going to be a worker in that wide receiver room. He's going to lead from the front in that way. He's going to show kids, you need to put everything into everything. For lack of a better word, he's that Rudy on the practice field, right? He's that kid who's always given 150% every single play. And guess what? He's super athletic. He's got great hands. I could see Josh using him as a possession receiver, right? In short yardage possession receiver roles, a nice little whip route, stuff like that. I could also see Josh using him on gadget plays, right? I feel like we haven't had a really good gadget play wide receiver in a little while. And then, of course, you get the added bonus of a sure-handed punt returner as well. Like, we all like the sexy punt return. Let's remember how detrimental muffing a punt can be, right? Like, it can really, really kill your team when your defense stands on their head and then you go out and muff a punt. I mean, look at what it did to Alabama that one year, right? Saban about pooped his pants on the field and killed a kid over it, right? So you need those sure hands. You need a smart kid out there. You also want kids who aren't going to take the ball out of the end zone when they shouldn't be. I mean, it's just all those little things that go into all that. I really like the pickup. Obviously, we got him at the right price. I love it, man. I absolutely love it.
And we're in the day and we're in the day and age though where 85 has gone to 105. You got to fill those roster spots. So the day and walk-ons is pretty much dead. But you're going and getting a guy from the Pac-2, I guess, where he leads the team in receiving yards and touchdowns, and that's the guy you're bringing in to fill one of those extra roster spots where you're not having to spend any rev share NIL. I'm fired up for that, man. You get a guy with experience that can come in and make an impact if you need it. Give that to me anytime.
Yep. Dave Morrison for 2 says he's a white squirrel. Does that mean he's going to drop a bunch of passes and transfer? I'm not going to be happy on that. Look, guys, I hope he comes here and balls out. I call a spade a spade. It is what it is. Y'all tried to sell me on him by telling me that he's coming here for free and he's a white Rudy. Well, I guess Rudy was white. Y'all got me thinking of white squirrel white. He's Rudy. He's Rudy. He's coming here for free, Boogie, and he's Rudy.
We were so close. Close.
Feels like 98. Feels like 98.
We almost made it. He's the white Rudy. Should I sell a t-shirt that says he's the white Rudy? Nick Barnhart drops a 20 spot. We'll play the clip.
Rocky Top!
Shout out, Nick. I appreciate it. That's 1 out of 5. We need 4 more Orange Boys. We'll do some Amari Campbell film breakdown at the end of the show. Nick says, what are y'all's thoughts on running back portal targets from Florida and FSU? Gavin Sawchuk, FSU running back, 5'11", 202, 70th best running back in the portal. 3 seasons at Oklahoma. Best season was 2023, 120 carries for 744, averaged 6.2 yards per carry that year for 9 touchdowns. Transferred to Florida State this year, had a 486 yards, 4.5 yards per carry, and 8 touchdowns. Jacoby Jackson was the interesting one that we were talking about at the top of the show. Florida running back, 5'11", 214, 37th best running back in the country. It's Ohio State, Auburn, Wake Forest, and Tennessee. He just got a waiver to play his 7th season of college ball. We're sitting here questioning whether or not Joey gets another year. This kid just got approved for a 7th year. He played JUCO ball from 2020 to 2022. So he got that COVID year, that extra year of eligibility. He redshirted at Florida in 2023, been there for 2 seasons, had 607 rushing yards, average 5 yards carry, and 7 touchdowns. Interesting story, though, just got his 7th year. Scoops, any thoughts on the running back targets in the portal? Those guys both here on campus this weekend.
Gavin was intriguing to me just because he started off at Oklahoma and then he goes to Florida State, where Florida State wasn't really hot in the media, but in that first game against Alabama, he was a huge factor, finishing with 8 touchdowns. Any guy that has 1,700 rushing yards and 20 touchdowns in his collegiate career, that's definitely going to be appealing to me, especially with what Tennessee wants at the running back position right now. You're not trying to go get a guy that's going to start over Deshaun Bishop, but make that two-headed monster even more dangerous. And it seems like both these guys know that they're coming into a room where it's not going to be just 1A and like in 1 or 2, like you're going to have a 1A, 1B, two-headed monster where you're going to be going with an all SEC back in Bishop. So seeing both these guys be kind of cool and comfortable with that was exciting to see, considering that we've missed on a few guys that wanted to be the main guy or wanted a bigger NIL deal. So I think both these guys would fit the system, man. I lean towards more Gavin just based off hearing his quotes. He wants to be in the boat. I think he's a guy that, as soon as he got on campus last night, falling in love. It seems like they hit a home run there. Just his experience at Oklahoma and last year in the ACC in a similar offense with Tommy Castanelas. I think that'd be a good plug and play fit, man. But you can't go wrong with a guy that has 7 years in collegiate experience as well. So that guy that was backing up Jaden Baugh at Florida was a factor against Georgia in that game in the cocktail party. I think you can't go wrong. It just depends, what does Tennessee want in that fit? And I think both guys have that bruiser, short down distance ability to get short yardage. So we'll see what happens. I think right now they probably prioritize the Florida guy over Gavin, but I think both would be a good fit in the system.
Let me at another 20 spot. Christopher Welch for 20 says, well, let me play the clip. I don't want to forget to play the clip. I know y'all love the clip.
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
Coach A, you initially weren't as high on Jim Knowles as a lot of the panel due to the does he mean time it takes? TOT, it takes
I
time.
think so.
Knowing what you know now, how would you rank him versus the previous field?
So knowing what I know now, I think I would put him still right below Zach Arnett from San Diego State is my favorite. But I think knowing what I know now, I'd probably put him on level playing for my second pick of Ryan Walters, right on the same level. Maybe a slight edge, just the way the ball's aired out nowadays in the SEC. I think he gives you a little more love in that regard with your secondary. And obviously, I never dreamed that we get an edge talent like Coleman or Campbell for that matter. Like, just once again, and MG Way said it the night I said my concern about it taking time and the system being complex and all this stuff. And MG Way very, very aptly pointed out, hey, coach, well, he could get transfers. What about all these Penn State guys? And I immediately agreed. Hey, you know what? I didn't think about that. You're right, MG Way. Like, it can change the clock. So knowing what I know now, I definitely, I think all three of these guys are brilliant D coordinators, number one. But I put them just a shade below Zach Arnett, but maybe even or just slightly above Mr. Ryan Walters.
Waniak drops another 20 spot, and he says, I want that film breakdown. We need 2 more Orange Boys in the show with Amari Campbell. We'll play the clip.
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
Yee Bo for 5 says, what are the quarterbacks Tennessee is looking into? That's what we opened the show with. If you missed the show, I encourage you to go back, rewatch it. But everybody's waiting on Joey Aguilar. He's supposed to get a ruling tomorrow. Matt Zenitz reported today that it was unlikely that he would get an extra year of eligibility. After that, Tennessee appears to be pushing all their chips in on Sam Leavitt. It's Tennessee, it's LSU, it's Miami. We'll see what happens. There's a fallback plan. It's the Missouri quarterback that I can't even ever remember that his last name is Pribula, but Scoop says it another way, and I don't really care because I hope it's not him. I hope it is Sam Leavitt, but we will see what happens. Thank you for the super chat. We need a couple of more to get that film breakdown. Let's talk about some defensive linemen. And I want Coach Jay eventually here, before we wrap up this conversation, to chime in, because there's two guys that were on campus that everybody's been talking about because they come as a package deal, and that's Quay Rusaw and also James Smith, both transferring, hit the portal from Alabama. Seemed like a package deal. Now, AP said that these guys are being shopped around. So he said, don't get your hopes up, right? But those guys are in town together. So we look at rankings. Rusaw listed as number 2 in the portal at his position. James Smith, number 4 at his position. Tennessee also had some other defensive linemen in town. Walter Mathis Jr. from LSU. He's listed as the 87th best defensive lineman. Also, Dalen Evans listed as the 35th best defensive lineman. He's from Texas A&M. Jordan Norman, Tulane edge rusher, listed as the 40th best edge. So I know a lot of people are sold on this Alabama duo, but there are some other dudes. But Fal, if you look at rankings and rankings alone, man, as a fan, you go, I don't want those guys. I want the Alabama guys. But AP said that Tennessee could like the LSU and A&M kid just as much, if not more. What I've been saying in my videos is I trust Rodney Garner more than I do Average Joe in the chat or Average Joe on this panel, myself, Scoops, maybe anybody. Well, sorry, Coach. I respect and value Coach G's opinion more than yours. I apologize. But, Val, when you sit back and look at it, and I told you, go watch a little film. Let me know what you think. Don't pull any punches. Be honest. How do you think this shakes out? All 5 guys were in town this weekend.
To me, it goes back to what we talked about before. They all kind of fit the same mold. You're seeing these big, fast, high motor guys, but that's where Rusaw kind of stands out to me the most. That's a guy I'd like to pair up with Coleman, right? Like that's another guy, kind of has that speed power at 6'2", 243 pounds. It could be a good run fit, works good in space. I'm looking for that guy. For me, I'll let you guys get into some of these interior defensive linemen. We're not going to take all the meat here, but I just want to talk for a second about how we could pair somebody up with Coleman. I want somebody, because losing Ross was kind of a detriment to me. Like that's one that stood out to me as a place I wanted to feel. And I like this kid a lot. Just from a physical standpoint. When I start thinking about schemes, I start thinking about how an offense is going to try to prepare against me. Who are they looking at? Who do they have to prepare for? And I don't want to, me and Coach had talked about it before, I don't want to set up to where they can just plan for one guy, plan and run away from that guy or work around that guy the whole game. This is a kid who I think can come in and fill that spot and apply pressure from the edge and provide a good rotational piece for Coleman, if not a duo with Coleman.
No, yeah, I mean, I definitely think that you have that duo there. I think they want to go wherever they're going together. They've been to Ohio State, they've been to Tennessee. I think they've even been to Notre Dame, making their way around. And like AP said, they're being shopped around. And I don't think that means that Tennessee they would take him if they wanted in the boat. Just being realistic. But these guys are obviously looking for the opportunity, looking for a nice NIL offer. And it seems that Tennessee, even if they miss out, they really are all in on Mathis Jr. and Dalen Evans at A&M. I mean, those guys are 2 absolute hoss. I don't know if anyone's seen it, but if you go look at a picture of Dalen Evans, that kid being a redshirt freshman, like he is a absolute hoss, and that's what you want. I mean, yeah, absolute monster. And like you want these big body guys that are going to be in here, that are going to come in, rotate, be constantly fresh under Garner, and those guys see that vision as well. But just having that meat at a defensive tackle position, man, I think just being able to create havoc, win in the trenches, let guys like Chaz Coleman and the edge rushers win open holes for Amari Campbell. Just overall making the system go. Tennessee's going to need some big bodies. I would not hate it at all if you do take a chance on a Dalen Evans or on a Walter Mathis Jr., guys that have had a redshirt season in the SEC, now going and getting an increased role wherever they end up. Tennessee has a way to go about it. Do you go and take the duo if they won in the boat? I think you do. But this guy, yes, this picture exactly.
I got the background.
I want to get
he is
one-on-one with him.
Absolute monster. If you look at this guy, I mean, we've seen a guy like Elijah Simmons under in the last defensive staff, but this guy is a absolute monster, and he was a redshirt freshman. There was going to be. Have a huge increased role for the Aggies next year, and they're really sad to see him go. Man, I think that would be a huge pickup for Tennessee.
Hey, right here on the show with us, just hanging out.
When you got to put on your gloves all stupid because they don't fit right. So you got to cut them in certain places and tear them like that. That's when you got a big human being in front of you.
We're starting to see a theme here in Knowles defense, right, guys? Like one after another. Size, speed, size across that defense line.
Which chaos,
I
yeah.
was trying to figure out what Scoops is looking at back there.
No, I was just looking at
What
my
are you up to, Scoops? What are you looking at?
Oh, yo. No, but I mean, yeah, like the stats like aren't appealing. You look, you see like 8 tackles, 1 tackle for loss as a redshirt freshman. You see his ranking as a former top 15 defensive line, but that's a guy that you want those guys to be able to come in, rotate, be fresh. And just he even said it in his exit interview earlier. You know, I love that as well. Being able to, you don't want to play 70, 80 snaps at defensive tackle. Like you want to be able to come in fresh, rejuvenated, and have the best chance to make a play. So having those big bodies available of Tennessee, no matter who they game, man, even Rousseau or Smith, I think these two guys that have SEC experience would be huge as well. But that's just an absolute monster, man. I mean, 310, like absolute unit, and that's how you create pressure and win at the line of scrimmage in this conference.
Coach, I locked you in the film room, and I said I wanted you to tell me Quay Rousseau and James Smith, or you can piece together some defensive linemen with Dalen Evans, with Walter Mathis, with Jordan Norman from Tulane. What's the verdict?
Well, let me, I jumped in, Bug. You put me to work all day.
I did. I really
Miss
did.
J was like, when do I get my husband back? I said, season's almost over. Portal's almost closed, and then we can interview some people. And
so never, basically.
Yeah, never. Football's a year-round sport, right? So, Quay Rousseau, number one, and why I'm going over these, with what you've heard about kind of how the way I've talked about Knowles' defense, I want you guys to kind of think, like, which two, if you might be Coach Knowles and what you guys are starting to know and learn, which two would you think? So Rousseau, a really good-looking kid, once again. He wins with technique and effort, really quick first step and setting the edge. He's really good at compressing a pocket, and he plays pretty good assignment football, and he rarely busts, right? So Mathis wins with length, speed, and twitch, okay? He wins getting faster off the snap consistently. He turns the corner more naturally with more bend. If he's going to lose, it's due to pad level usually. And so my final analysis is Russell, I think, raises your defensive floor really well. And I think Mathis raises that defense's ceiling a whole lot more because of the overall speed bump that you get. I think you're seeing this defense get a lot faster. And I think for that position, that's why you're starting to see the lean from Mathis. Would you agree, though, with those traits that I wrote down? Just that twitch.
What I like too, Mathis is a true freshman, right? So I don't think you're looking for Mathis to come in here and play 85 snaps like freaking, Don Bailey had to do sliding inside. I think, he's you want to rotate. He's a body, and he's young, man. You're getting multiple years of eligibility, and we're seeing that with some of these targets on defense. I think Tennessee's in a good spot for Mathis. We'll see what happens. So final verdict, you're going Mathis and
so James Smith, number one, is playing a lot of grown man football inside against Alabama, right? A great anchor. He can hold a double team. He makes the linebackers behind him ahead of better. I love that, Bug, when you make your linebackers better. He's a bit of a liability in pass rush. Like I would go as far as say a big liability in pass rush, but really, really great against the run. Evans is more explosive. He can penetrate gaps with greater efficiency. He fits with multiple fronts much better, and he's harder to game plan against, right? Smith can stabilize that front, but Evans really, really changes the front with his size, and he makes it so you can. What do we say about Coleman earlier, right? When you have that Leo in this system, you can add a rusher from anywhere on the field. And when you've got someone that's a space aider with you, Evans is just much, much better at creating chaos in the middle with his size. And as you all know, chaos has been my key word on the front seven for this Jim Knowles defense. So for that reason, Boogie, I think the latter two are the ones I would roll with. But make no mistake, if we got the two kids from Alabama, I'd be happy. It's a good problem to have, but give me the LSU kid and the A&M kid. I don't know if I'd say by a nose, maybe by a head.
Scoops, what do you think the final verdict is on these kids? Mathis spoke with the media, called Tennessee one of his front runners. I know the edge rusher from Tulane, I saw where Corey Bender at Gators Online basically said that Tennessee picked up the momentum there. So it sounds like, or excuse me, on Dalen Evans. Sounds like, no, I was right the first time.
Yeah,
I've got too many notes.
Yeah.
So he said it sounded like Tennessee had gained the momentum on Jordan Norman. And then again, Walter Mathis said Tennessee's one of the front runners here. I've not seen anything on Dalen Evans. You take those three kids, lump in the Alabama kids. Where do you think Tennessee ends up with this thing after who all was on campus this weekend?
I think AP actually just dropped an article on Evans like 5 minutes ago on the Twitter spheres, and I skimmed through it there just for a little bit. Sounds like he's processing things with Tennessee's well there. You got Norman, who I think the staff hit a home run, fell in love with Rodney Garner. Florida coming out and kind of waving the white flag on that one kind of gets me fired up. I've heard you can probably check back in the next 24 hours, and you might have maybe some good news on the Vols end. But I lean towards, you have the chance to get two guys with SEC experience, exactly what you want. Big body guys that are going to be playing their best football as they go forward, got their nose bloody, as you like to say, an experience that are, they create havoc. If you can go and get those two guys like in the boat, it sounds like Tennessee is obviously really high on them, just like they are the Bama duo, if not the same. You land those, you go and get Norman from Tulane, a guy you can pair with a Chaz Coleman, absolute, weaponry on the edge. You get that beef up front. I take that route, man. I mean, I don't want you to, if you don't have to, don't get lost in the star power and the names. You see Tennessee obviously having these plans in place. They did not do it. I mean, they obviously did it by design. It wasn't a coincidence having these guys on campus at the same time. If you have that same vision for those guys, you have that, soccer just as confident in that duo. Those guys sound like they want in the boat. I mean, Mathis says Tennessee's, trending there. I think Evans is in between, Tennessee and Mississippi State. And I think it's just a waiting game of what Tennessee's going to do. But I think that he would, hop in. If you get those two guys and you get Norman as well, I'm fired up for that, man. Like, I'm absolutely fired up. I can't look at a single addition on the defensive side of the ball that I don't think is going to have an immediate impact when they get to Tennessee next season. I mean, you can land those guys, go 3 for 3. I wouldn't get lost in the star power of a Smith and Russaw if those guys aren't wanting to hop in when Tennessee wants to. I think they're being aggressive. They're getting these guys in the boat now and a much faster approach. And I think Tennessee's going to move quickly because they've not been shy that they want to fill out that defensive line ASAP.
Let me catch back up. Go ahead, Spal, and then I'll jump back in.
That's a good problem to have, right, guys? Bring in as many as we can. The way Rodney Garner rotates defensive linemen, bring in as many of these bodies as we can, as far as I'm concerned.
Amen.
Let me hit some super chats real quick. Jody Wooten for 5 says, what if Leavitt wants to come here, but everyone is waiting for tomorrow's ruling? If Leavitt wants to commit right now tonight, guess what? Josh Allen's going to take it. He ain't going to sit around and wait. If Leavitt wants to commit, we're going to take it, and we're going to move on with Sam Leavitt as the quarterback. Sora the Demon drops an orange boy. We shall go and play the clip.
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
Sora says, you said orange boys, but for real, I feel with the pathway into Tennessee these Penn State guys are taking, and the level of skill that is coming in is a good sign that they are being smart with who they grab. I think this coaching staff is always pretty smart with who they grab. Shout out, Sora. Appreciate the super chat. Todd for 20 says, roll that Amari footage.
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
Shout out, Todd. We appreciate you. Christopher Welch also drops an orange boy.
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
Christopher says, worth the $40 that he spent, his hard-earned money that he spent to prove guys on the fence about joining the family. Coach Jay is a real one, no backtrack, and would still say even for a second in his initial evaluation. Everyone should respect that in a fanatic Go Vols. Shout out, Christopher. We appreciate you. We're going to jump in and take a look at it. Amari Campbell film to wrap up the show. But also Trent Miller became a member of the channel. We appreciate that. Angry Titan gifted a Talkin VAWLS membership. Shout out to the OG of the door fee. Dave Morrison for 2. The 26D might be known as the Backyard Brawlers 2. Timothy McGee for 5 says, quit with the star power. Look at Indiana. No 5 stars, just old farts that need to get a haircut. Get a real job, LOL. I thought we could make it a full show without talking about Indiana, but we can't. You guys are in love with Indiana. You are obsessed. I may sell a freaking.
You knew that.
I'm gonna sell a shirt that says Signetti is the spaghetti, and we're gonna sell it right here on bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS because everybody loves Signetti's spaghetti. But also I saw Don. What's up, Don? Where did he go? I know I saw him in the chat. There he is. He says, this is my last comment. This group and AD better get it right this year. Don is the definition of this shirt right here. We created this shirt for Don, and I hope he goes to buy it at bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. If you're going to be negative, rock it, own it, go to Bonfire, buy this shirt, and show.
Well, did Don kick him out? Don was like, I'm not taking this, Boogie Bentley. You will not besmirch
get out of here.
Call me a nega ball. I'm a certified ball-knowing realist, Boogie.
Maybe not a YouTube knowing, but a ball.
That was something.
I probably need to go to bed. I have been on this computer for too long. You can go to bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. Get the new Negavol shirt, or you can get a shirt that tells everybody that you are a certified ball-knowing realist. Or we got the old favorites, Talkin VAWLS merch, logo merch, TN theme merch, rivalry shirts, parody shirts, everything you want is at bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. We appreciate you for the support. We also appreciate the members. If you're not a member, hit the join button. You can also go join our Patreon. We got an EA Sports College Football Patreon Dynasty. We got a game day chat. We got a $1 tier if you want to support that way. I say it every time that we do these plugs. If you don't have the money to give, don't give. Hit the thumbs up. It's quick. It's free. It's easy. It helps the channel, and I would greatly appreciate it. When I asked you guys if you cared about Scoops, and you said no. You all started hitting the thumbs down when I asked if you cared about Scoops. I would appreciate hitting the thumbs up. Timothy McGee for 5 says, well, all we hear is 5-star, laugh out loud. How about we get players that want to be coached and play hard? Man, I want a good 3-star. We need a good 3-star you is what we need to bring back. All right, let's take a quick look at a couple of plays from Amari Campbell. This is a big one. This is the guy that Scoops threw under the bus for spoiling Lane's commitment. And so anyway.
Actually, when I put this one up there, Boogie, this wasn't even an Amari Campbell highlight. This was a Lane highlight for me. But let's watch them. Let's watch it. Chat wants all 3, Boog. Chat wants.
This is all I got. I don't have any more clips pulled up.
You don't have the other. You really don't have the other one.
Can you post it in the back room? I got one more. I can go. We can start with it. This is a great show. Apparently, when we hit 2 hours in 10 minutes, we're done. Here you go, Coach. How about this one?
Yeah,
this one's probably wrong too.
Yeah, no, that one's right. Yeah, I'm gonna send you the one you don't have because it's like a must that we do that one. But okay, yeah, here we go.
Can you post it in the back room or not? If not, just text it to me.
Okay, I'll just text it to you right now.
For the fans, by the fans.
For the fans, by the fans. There we go. There we go. Hey, man, I'm pushing for you guys to get an extra play. I like that other play, though. We can go back to it. Okay, so I believe Boogie play for just a split second. I think a wide receiver is going to go on motion on top. Just a second to confirm it. Yep, pause. There we go. Okay. So wide receiver, twins, top of the screen, right? We got a strong to the bottom of the screen with a wide receiver sitting, that X wide receiver sitting in tight right there. We have the Z wide receiver flying by the slot wide receiver. Okay, we're going to get double action inside right here. Campbell is going to be the inside linebacker that's shaded so that on the right-hand side, our right-hand side, top of the screen. I don't know if Boogie's got the mouse. He might be busy in the background, but right in front of that safety that is pointing. There you go. So this whole play is going to be designed to put Campbell in conflict, right? That's the whole point of this play. And we're going to want to put him in the hole just like earlier. And I know you all saw a lot of linebackers looking really, really, really confused inside. So what's going to happen is number one here in motion is going to come on a little dig across. You're going to get a slant by the other wide receiver up top. And then on the bottom, they're going to try to create a natural pick for that wide receiver that's all the way on the bottom of the screen, right? So Amari Campbell is going to have 3 wide receivers coming across his face, and they're going to try to pick him and see if they can get him to make a mistake. Let's watch it in real time, Boog, and then we can break it down. Just real time, and what I want to stress right here is he did not panic. He did not get lost. He shaded to the double slot side, kept his perpendicular 45-degree angle to the pick wide receiver, number 17. I believe that's Tate, if I'm not mistaken. Right. So right here, look, he's pop, and now I can just make a play. Everything's in front of me. I'm in the hole. I'm not lost. I'm not turned around. Just once again, I'm not freaking panicking and lost, and I can't not figure out where I am. And watch his feet, just good square feet, scrapes with them, and is always mindful. Look at his heels. Where are his heels, Boog? They're right on the back of the goal line, right? I don't want to let anyone score. 2nd and goal, they can't score. That pick is fine. They can set that double pick up. I'm going to be able to scrape right behind it, and he gives himself enough space. When you are going to be picked as a Mike linebacker, it's important to settle deep enough that they can't get on you, right? That they actually can't get pad to pad with you. Because if they get pad to pad with you, they can pick you. So if you're not settled deep enough, it's going to be problematic from a Mike standpoint. You need to settle deep enough in that middle hole so that you can react forward and then be calm and then make the play in front of you. Go ahead and give it to us one more time, Boog. Amari Campbell, by the way, guys, might be the best pickup we've had on defense. I'm really, really, really high on this kid.
Don't you think, like, Chaz Coleman, from an optics perspective, from a ceiling perspective, maybe feels bigger as far as the heart, Scoops? And you could probably speak to this. The heart of this portal class is Amari Campbell. The peer recruiter is Amari Campbell. The leader, Scoops, is Amari Campbell.
The very first thing, but like whenever he entered the portal and they were talking about setting up a visit, first thing he asked me about whenever he was talking to me, and I'm like, hey, GBO is like, I need you to tell me everything I need to know about Knoxville, not just the stadium. Tell me everything about the game day. Tell me about the fan base. Tell me traditions. He was locked in, ready and loaded, and like just having him in like whether it's group chats, personal conversations, firing guys up, already getting connections with the guys here. The guys that he's bringing on campus, coming, following him from Penn State, how he's interacting with the fan base, acting like he's one of us, just overall getting along with everybody. Cool, calm, collected dude. But then you see the leader he is on defense. You see the guy, cool, calm, collected, see ball, attack ball, playing his role, being an alpha on the field, having that signal, getting those signals out, being the communicator on defense. Just overall around, you talk about a 1-year rental guy. You missed on Keaton Thomas. You wanted to, hit on a house. We got blessed with getting Amari Campbell. This guy is an absolute dog for the love of the game. Perfect replacement to come in on a 1 year for Arion Carter, who's gone. I'm fired up, man. Amari Campbell he's even fired up, man. I think Amari is more fired up than we are about being a Tennessee Volunteer.
To Wayne's comment there, I think one of his best qualities we may get, like how long have we seen linebackers in space at Tennessee and we get so frustrated getting lost in space, losing the responsibility. His best trait might be between his ears, his football IQ, the way he just reads and reacts and gets to his responsibility immediately. Like there's no hesitation, there's no drifting. In that last play, how many times do you see linebackers stay with that first receiver and drift out of position? And then you have somebody sitting in the end zone wide open. He knew his responsibility, stayed in his zone, and just his reaction time, it just pops off the page every time I look at it.
Coach, let's roll this last play real quick. What are we looking at?
We're looking at Penn State playing Ohio State once again. I'm just messing with you, brother.
We got to get offline before I start cussing at people here.
All right. We're going to end with a play I love, right? First and goal, right? So once again, we're in danger, Will Rogers, right? This play is just old school, nitty gritty, tough man, Mike, bad A, middle linebacker play type play. There's no other way to put it. They're going to run a dive, just an old school dive, right? Campbell is going to be that Mike middle linebacker again. And we got twins, or sorry, not twins, sorry, on the wrong play there. When he comes here, he's going to get picked up by the center and the right guard, right? So he's going to get double teamed on this blitz. So when that happens, Bug, see if you can get me that exact moment that he gets to that line of scrimmage. He's going to pop on this blitz. The line adjusts really good, right? Meets him. Now that other guard, right? He's going to check down and give this guy some help on that middle linebacker coming through, because the wing, the tight end, is going to come help on that player that right guard's on. Let's see if you can give me just another click of it. Right now he's double teamed. Now look at this. They've got him blocked, right? The other side's kicked out. 99's out of the play. That other tackle's out of the play. You got your safeties back there, but it looks like we're going to pick up some yards here, right? But we're going to get nitty gritty as the Mike linebacker, right? We're going to get down low. We're going to get squatty. We're going to stick our shoulder in. And I always talked about it, occupying a hectic gap with authority, strength, a low center of gravity, and violence. It's how you have to do it as a middle linebacker when you're in this double team scenario. And he's going to do that, man. He's going to get low. Boogie, go to big screen again and pop that out, because just watch him get nitty gritty right here and make this play. Boom. Beautiful. Lights him. I mean, that is tough. Inside, old school, in your face, middle linebacking right there. Beats a center and a guard on a playoff team. Splits them. I mean, as a linebacker coach, guys, that's film I'm showing all my guys. Like all my guys. I will show my guys this play during the offseason. That is how you split a double team and hold your ground violently, with violence. I think someone just said in the chat, out of the corner of my eye, Al Wilson, like it was Wayne who said it. Just tough, man. That is old school, hard-nosed football, and I love it, man. I love it.
One last super chat from Timothy McGee says, Coach Jay, does Knowles defense spy the quarterback? Coach, didn't you say not only does he spy the quarterback, but he mixes up who is going to spy that quarterback and doesn't just roll the same guy out there every series?
He does. Now, it should be noted that because everyone likes to talk about it, right? I actually thought that Coach Knowles got caught a little flat-footed when they played against UCLA, but to his credit, Knowles is all about the game plan, and he walked into a situation where he had absolutely no idea what UCLA was going to do. They had just fired all their dudes. They had just put new Heisel back there. They pulled out all the stops, running a bunch of little trick plays, little gadget quarterback run plays with extra blockers. It took him a while to adjust to it. Took him about a half to adjust to it. And then one thing I would have liked if he would have done better is he was using his midline safety to spy Nico. He was kind of switching between his nickel back and his strong side safety and his Leo to spy Nico with. I really thought that he should have been using his Mike Will and Rover to spy him with. I thought they were able to use that as an edge really well. And I don't know why they were slow to catch it, but they were slow to catch it in that game. And it was certainly detrimental to them, no doubt about it.
All right, we are 2 hours and 21 minutes into this thing. What a freaking live stream. The wheels came off a little bit there towards the end, but we appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Schedule for this week, Tuesday night is going to be EA Sports College Football Night as usual, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. There is a dead period starting at midnight tonight until Wednesday where visits are not allowed to take place. I think the portal news may slow down. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Obviously, we're looking for news on Joey tomorrow. Does Sam Leavitt make a decision? Even though it's a dead period, you can still have decisions. You can still have news. I will be dropping videos. If there is a reason to go live, we will go live. But as of right now, the next live stream will be Tuesday night at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We appreciate you guys. We thank you guys. If you're not a member, think about hitting that join button. Go check out the merchandise. Go check out the Patreon. For Coach, for Fowl, for Scoops, my name is Boogie Bentley. This is the Talkin VAWLS Network. Go Big Orange.
That we